Morning, everybody. It's the Mike Missanelli Show. We know the opponent now, ladies and gentlemen. It is the Los Angeles Rams, who now have to come to chilly Philadelphia for the next playoff game next Sunday, 3 o'clock. You watched the game last night. You got your own scouting report on the Los Angeles Rams. They're pretty good. They're better than when the first time the Eagles played them. They're young up front, and they're hardy up front. They made life hell for Sam Darnold last night, but frankly, he lost all his mojo in 2 straight games. It is amazing how, I'll go use the word again, non-pedigree players can lose it like that. And Sam Darnold, who's had pretty much his best year ever in football, hit a wall and completely lost his confidence. Held on to the ball, couldn't move around in the pocket, was meat for Los Angeles Rams defenders and defensive ends and rushing linebackers and safeties and corners and all that stuff. They completely demolished the Minnesota Vikings. I was thinking of how the Eagles had disintegrated last year, and I got the same vibe from the Vikings in that game last night. They just fell off the planet. And so the Rams come into town. They are a 5.5-point underdog. The Eagles favored by 5.5. That's an Eagles line. So I want to know how many people are worried about this next game, whether the Rams can pull it off. I don't think they can. I mean, you're talking about a short week. They had to fly from Arizona back to L.A. They're still dealing with the practice facility interruptions with the wildfires. They got to fly all the way here. It's a bad formula for the Rams to come all the way east and win that game. And so I feel pretty confident the Eagles will actually get to the NFC title game. But it's all about the people. Are you nervous at all? Now, my partner, Bill Colarulo, of course, Ray Dunn is here as well, not even fazed by the 5.5-point line and thinks the Eagles will rout. Is that pretty accurate, Bill?
That is spot on, Mike. I mean, I got exactly what I wanted last night. I wanted to see the Los Angeles Rams beat the Minnesota Vikings. I said it yesterday. I think this is the better opponent for the Eagles. Now, I think they would have beaten the Vikings as well, considering Sam Darnold is exactly who we all thought Sam Darnold was. But this Ram team, it's all about matchups, and the Eagles match up extremely well with the Los Angeles Rams. And I know people, they see the Rams, and they see Matt Stafford and Sean McVay and Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp and Kyron Williams, and they think, man, they got a good offense. They don't. They are not the offensive powerhouse that people remember the Los Angeles Rams to be. Not only did they finish the season 20th in the NFL in points per game, you look at the last 4 games that their starters have played, including last night's playoff game, the Rams offense is averaging 18 points a game. That is not a juggernaut. This Eagles defense, that's the best defense in the league, they're going to be able to shut down that Rams offense. They've proven it before. They're going to do it again. Now, the issue is that Rams defense. The Rams defense that gets after the quarterback. You saw them sack Darnold 9 times. But what did the Philadelphia Eagles do to that Rams defense in Week 12? 480 yards of offense, over 300 rushing yards in that game. This team matches up extremely well with the Rams. I'm shocked that the line of 5.5 is at 5.5. I think that could go up even higher before kickoff. Well, you shouldn't be nervous.
I think the line is a reflection of how the Rams played last night. They played really well. They dominated that team. So they come in on a high. And listen, they're young. Their defensive line is young and feisty, which is, that's a detriment to the Eagles because maybe they can match up with what the Eagles have on the offensive line. So I think it's a nervous Nelly game. But I don't think the Eagles are going to rout. But I think they're going to win. There's no way you can convince me that the Rams are going to make enough plays. Stafford's going to turn the ball over. Yeah, the immobility in the pocket is going to cost him somewhere along the line in this game. He's going to throw a pick that's going to lead to an easy Eagle touchdown. I think that's going to be a difference. 5.5-point lines are weird, though. Like, when you take a home team with 5.5, it's a weird line. They never seem to cover 5.5. I'd be more comfortable if it was 4. I'll even be honest with
for
you.
betting the game.
Yeah, for betting the game, which a lot of people are looking at this as. So we're gonna analyze this game, and we're gonna analyze Jalen Hurts because there's a lot of all this week. That will be the theme. Is Jalen Hurts good enough? Just like it was last week. Is Jalen Hurts good enough? Is he hurt? Is he rusty? Is he this? Is he that? Is he a good enough quarterback to lead his team to the Super Bowl? And my answer to that is always the same. It doesn't matter that he's not Josh Allen. It doesn't matter he's not Lamar Jackson. The Eagles balance that by having something that no one else has, which is that defense, that running back, and that offensive line. So if he can throw for 147 yards and win the game, it is possible to get to the Super Bowl that way with this team. It just is. And I don't know why people fight this concept. Now, we're going to go back over, like Dan Orlovsky had a pretty good film breakdown. And we're going to talk about that because that, to me, is a bigger problem than whether Jalen Hurts is healthy or good enough to win this game. The play designs and things like that, the routes that the receivers are running, that could be a problem, and we'll discuss that. So here's how you get in today. 610-632-0975. 610-632-0975. Text board or calls. Today we will also address that funky press conference where the Sixers owners tried to justify, and the mayor of Philadelphia got sucked right into it, their decision to now partner with Comcast and what Adam Silver's role in this whole thing was. And I got to be honest with you, I'm pissed off about it.
Uh-oh.
I am. I think we're getting cheated as a fan base, and I'll explain that somewhere along the course of today. Coordinators speak today. We'll hear from them. Kellen Moore, who's now a viable candidate in Dallas, and Vic Fangio, the Mike Missanelli Show on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Tyrone Johnson.
If Jalen Hurts was seeing some things defensively, Green Bay did a
Mike Missanelli Show. All right, so the other story that's semi-connected to the Eagles' last game was that they hunted down. They had the guy identified all day yesterday. I know there's a story out there that says Big Dom found out who it was. Somebody identified the guy who berated that Packers fan woman by using vulgar language and really embarrassed the Philadelphia fan base. Somebody had recognized his picture, and they put it out with his LinkedIn profile. I was watching it yesterday. So he was identified. I don't have his name in front of me, but they had the whole thing. And he doesn't even work. Like, the company he works for isn't even from here. And if you look at his profile, it says he's from Virginia.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's not a Philadelphian by anything. So it's like, again, the outsider has caused this problem, and now the Eagle fans get the rap. Not that they don't get a rap anyway, because they have overreacted in the past. But I'll find this tweet with this guy. They had him identified all day yesterday. This is so and so. He works for so and so, and it turned out to be the guy. But I looked at his profile, and it didn't have any connection, really, to Philadelphia. The company's not even in Philadelphia that he works for.
Yeah, I didn't see
Some hospitality company he works for.
Yeah, I didn't see who it was, but I'm happy they're banning him from all Philadelphia Eagles games going forward. So, it is. It's the small minority of Eagles fans that give all Philadelphia fans a bad rap. We don't want it. We don't want it here. So there's no place for that. That was ridiculous.
All right. So let's get back into this whole thing. When you look at the Rams, there's got to be something that you look at that you think can give the Eagles trouble. What is it, Mr. Football?
Well, it's that defense, the Rams' defense.
Pretty good.
Yeah, they struggled pretty much all season long, but they've turned things around. Now, they also have a first-time defensive coordinator in Chris Shula. That's Don Shula's grandson. But he comes in there, and over the last few weeks, they've been lights out. Now, I just said before the break, in the last 4 games that the starters have played, they've only averaged 18 points offensively. But on defense, they're only giving up on average 8 points a game in the last 4 games that their starters have played. They have 7 takeaways in those 4 games. They get after the quarterback. So that's the one issue, is if they can turn the ball over, if they're able to take the ball away from the Eagles. But that's where I keep going back now to the Jalen Hurts, bringing it full circle. All you need from Jalen Hurts is what he gave you against the Green Bay Packers. Don't turn the football over. If Jalen Hurts doesn't turn the ball over against the Los Angeles Rams and they rely on that rushing attack, I don't see the Rams winning this football game. I don't think that they have the powerhouse of an offense that's going to put up a ton of points against the best defense in the league. But that would be the one area, is if the Rams defense is able to get after Jalen Hurts, they're able to force some turnovers, well then, yeah, they can win this football game. But I just don't see the Eagles falling trapped to that. They're going to establish the run. Saquon Barkley, I mean, he set his career high in that game in Week 12, and it could have been even worse.
They're going to stop that, though.
They're going to try.
That's what the adjustment is going to be. They're going to stop Barkley. So it comes down again to whether Hurts can make some throws. Now, Barkley's going to get 100. He's going to get 100. They're going to keep working it to the point where he's going to get 100. Is 100 from him enough? Does he need a breakaway touchdown? Or are they going to? Is Jalen Hurts going to have to be that much better in this game against a better defense? It's going to rush the passer. Let's face it. But see, I like the fact that they're going to rush the passer because I see a couple of 15 to 25-yard runs by Jalen Hurts. I don't mind that at all when there's a heavy rushing team.
Yeah, now that'd be interesting. Jalen beats you with his legs. That's the major difference of Sam Darnold last night. Getting sacked 9 times against the Los Angeles Rams. He's a statue in the pocket. He's not going to be able to do what Jalen could do. So now, I know you're saying that the Rams are going to come into this game and say, we want to take away the run. It's a lot easier said than done against the Philadelphia Eagles, though, because not only that offensive line that's so good, because Jalen Hurts has that ability to pull it and run it himself, it's like having that +1 in the running game. We talk about it a lot.
If he's 100%. If he's 100% and playing like the Jalen Hurts with reckless abandon, yes. But there are some people that watched his performance last week and said he's not 100%. There was something missing with him last week. Now, I want to get into this Orlovsky breakdown. And listen, he's a little overexposed for me, Dan Orlovsky, but he did do a pretty decent breakdown to show that it really wasn't Jalen Hurts' fault last week, that nobody was getting open. Now, if nobody's getting open, there are two things at work here. Either they're not scheming them open, or the receivers just aren't busting it to get separation to run their routes.
Yeah, and I watched the video too yesterday. We talked a little bit about it of what Orlovsky did. It wasn't necessarily the receivers weren't running good routes. It was the route designs and the concepts that they went into this football game with that were just confusing to me. They were a lot of long developing routes, and it did appear like the Packers knew what was coming. Like, that was the major concern. It's like, how are the Packers so prepared for everything the Eagles are doing in the passing game? It was weird.
I don't understand why there is a problem with short throws and 1, 2, 3, boom. Like, I don't understand that at all. That seems to be the easiest way to break down a defense systematically. And then you hit them with a run, and then maybe you stretch it. I don't know why it's so hard to call a game when you have Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown and a tight end. So we'll talk about it. 610-632-0975. We'll have the Orlovsky audio on his breakdown on Jalen Hurts. We'll go to the text board. A lot of texts are coming in right now. And I have identified the guy. I got his whole resume in front of me. The guy who's now banned from the Eagles Stadium. He's an outsider. It's the Mike Missanelli Show. We're back after this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
The Eagles will host the Rams on Sunday. I'm Ray Dunn. This update is brought to you by Corona. Want to win tickets to a Sixers game? Enter for your chance to win at the Fanatics Corona Sixers pregame party events happening all season long. Hosted by our man Andrew Salciunas. For details, go to the events page on 975thefanatic.com. Los Angeles Rams took down the Minnesota Vikings 27-9 on Monday night, booking their trip to Philadelphia for the divisional round. It'll be the Eagles and Rams Sunday at 3 o'clock down at Lincoln Financial Field. The big storyline leading up to this one will be the Eagles' passing offense finding its groove again after an uneven performance against the Packers on Sunday. Here's Nick Sirianni speaking about his quarterback to the media yesterday.
What I was so impressed by with Jalen, is he going to want plays back? Of course. In pressure situations when he needed to have extreme focus and lead us down the field to score, he did.
This Eagles offense will get a rematch with the Rams defense that they scored 37 points and gained 481 yards against back in November. Elsewhere, Flyers beat the Panthers 4-3 behind 2 goals from Noah Cates last night. The 76ers returned action tonight at the front end of a back-to-back. Joel Embiid will be out tonight as they host the Oklahoma City Thunder at 7 o'clock. This update's also brought to you by Discover. Discover wants everyone to feel special. That's why they double all the cash back you've earned on your credit card at the end of your first year with Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/credit card. I'm Ray Dunn, the home of the 76ers and Flyers. 97.5 The Fanatic, 97.5thefanatic.com.
We'll get to the good football stuff in a second, but let me just shed some light on this guy. This guy who was that fan that made the city look bad was identified on social media really quickly. So it's not like we needed J. Edgar Hoover. All due respect to Big Dom. The other people had identified who this guy was, right? So his name is Ryan Caldwell. His job is he's a business analyst at BCT Partners. So look at his resume. Ryan Caldwell has been working in the hospitality industry since 2002. Hey, blah, 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 blah. He is from the Maryland area. He went to Frederick Community College, that's Frederick, Maryland, and attended Towson University. He's not a Philadelphian.
No, he's a Maryland
Well,
guy.
so he worked there. He now works as the hotel director of hotel operations and opening general manager at Spring Hill Suites at Co-Enterprises Incorporated. They're located in Mount Laurel. Spring Hill Suites is located in Mount Laurel. So evidently he found his way here, and that's where he works right now.
Oh, I think he may have worked there. I don't know.
Well,
if he lost
hold
his
on a
job.
second. The story goes on.
Oh, okay.
Relax. Hold on. This is not the end of the story. So that's what brought him to the area. So now he becomes an Eagle fan. Why? Because he's in the area. He's a Maryland guy. I assume he grew up as a Commanders fan, right? So he's just a troublemaker. So he comes here. He causes some trouble. So I look at BCT Partners. BCT Partners is located in the East Brunswick, New Jersey. They're not even local. They're a hospitality company, and they put out a statement that says the management at BCT Partners has been made aware of a video circulating involving an employee making offensive remarks outside of the workplace. BCT Partners denounces this type of behavior, and we take this matter extremely seriously. As an organization that has always stood for inclusivity, the conduct displayed was completely unacceptable and stands in direct opposition to our company values. So this is a company that touts their assistance with developing diverse communities. Meanwhile, this guy is calling a woman the C word. We have already begun a full investigation, the statement says, as an internal personnel matter to determine what actions will be taken. We sincerely apologize to everyone affected by this behavior and remain committed to fostering a culture of respect for all. This guy has to be fired, and this is a corporate mumbo-jumbo nonsense way of saying that, well, red tape says we have to go through HR process and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I guess they got to dot their I's and cross their T's before they do anything. But
my point is, there's a Philadelphia Eagle fan. This guy has no association with the Philadelphia Eagles, except for maybe he moved to Mount Laurel in the last couple of years to be at Spring Hill Suites. And for the people at Spring Hill Suites working with this guy, give me some details on this guy. Working with this guy. If this guy's that much of a lunkhead, he's working for somebody who's supposed to develop diverse communities. How could they hire a guy like this?
yeah, and I just said this in the YouTube chat because they've been battling about this topic since the start of the show. Like, for you to do that, for you to call a woman that because she roots for a different football team, I guarantee you we are just scratching the surface on this guy. Like, there's no way this is a good guy right now. For you to do that just because she's wearing a Green Bay Packers shirt.
It's really funny. People go, well, you have to. You don't know both sides of the story. You don't know what they said to him. Well, suppose they called him, shut up, you fat ass. Like, what was that enough for him to go into the C word diatribe? Now, here's the other thing. Bill, you're a macho guy. You're with your wife. A fan in the row above you starts abusing your wife, calling her the C word. What are you doing?
Her and I actually talked about this last night.
Okay.
Because I was saying, if that's you, I have to address this.
You absolutely
I
have to.
have to.
People say, well, you got to call that number. Yeah, okay, you call the number. Meanwhile, your wife's going to be like right in front of your face.
Yes.
This lunkhead is calling her the C word.
Now, my wife says to me last night, yeah, but he handled it the right way because if you do anything physical, other people are probably going to get involved, and you're the outsider being the Packers fan. No one knows why you're in a fight with the guy.
Okay, that's fair.
And all that. But I'm with you. I mean, if that happens in front of me, I don't know if I'm thinking level-headed.
No, you're not thinking level-headed. You're not thinking that you should act sophisticated at that point. This is flight or fight.
Exactly.
Right?
And it's one of the most disrespectful things you can do to my wife in that moment.
Even if you get your ass kicked in that, you at least have done the right thing.
Correct. Yes. I mean, look, I give the guy credit that he did not react in a physical nature, but it would have been very difficult not to. Very difficult not to. But what people had said it. I was reading some of the Twitter comments saying, how come you didn't go at the guy? And some of his answers were, because the guy was with his brother and his friends. Nobody would have known. They would have just seen me fighting an old guy and thought that I was this belligerent Packers fan and all that. But, yeah, it would have been very difficult not to react.
All right.
So thank God he's banned. And to your point, please, let's spread this word. This is not a Philadelphian, okay? The black eye that this city has constantly have on it because of our fan base, he's not one of us.
No, not that we're 100% saying, like, believe me, when I find a story like this, I want to find the person. I would like to identify the person. And I really, not only for his public humiliation, but I want to know what makes someone like that tick. Like, what is it in your life that makes you so miserable that you would have to do something like that? That's that's the mental health part of this whole thing. And we talk about addressing mental health. You got to get it at the bulb before it blossoms.
No, you're spot on. And I do see some people, even in the YouTube chat now, I saw it on Twitter. Well, what did she say to him?
It doesn't matter what she said to him. Like I said, what's the worst she could have done? What's the worst her husband could have done? Look, give him a dirty look?
Well, what it looked like was she was cheering a play. That's what it looked like. She was cheering. Look, if you guys want to go at it and it's all in fun and she's rooting for the Packers and you're like, oh, the Packers stink or whatever.
I got to talk to somebody who would have that reaction. Well, you don't know what she said. Because I saw that on Crossing Broad, too. They had that opinion. Well, you don't know there's two sides to this story. Two sides to what? This is only one side. This was a woman who got abused at a football game because she was a Packer fan, and the guy was vulgar and used the one word that you can't use for a woman. You can't use that word.
Yeah, I think we're scratching the surface with that guy. I'm telling you. For him to do that.
There are many words you can't use, but that's the most harmful word.
But for him to do that to a complete stranger just because of the team she's rooting for, he's a bad dude.
And what about his family? Does he have a family? Does he take the time to know that's how you're going to embarrass your family if you have one, your wife, your relatives? Now your name is out there. Your employees who work with you. Come on, people. This is a sporting event.
Yeah.
All right.
We got a lot of people.
Let's go to the text board. Text on the Rams matchup, first of all, Ray.
Oh, right. It's a game the Eagles should win, but I'm not going to be overconfident. Nakobe Dean is a big loss. I watched Oren Burks the last several games. It's a big drop-off. His instincts aren't great. He will be a target for the Rams offense, and I hope it doesn't affect them trying to make up for Dean's absence.
That's a really good text. And if I'm the offensive coordinator of the Rams and I'm McVay, I make sure that I get him in some kind of coverage.
Yeah, you're going to try to scheme something up. Now, the one benefit that the Eagles have right now is the Rams don't have a great tight end. Like, Colby Parkinson is their tight end. He only averaged 17 yards a game.
Higbee's a tight end, but he got banged up.
Yeah,
now,
exactly.
Is he going to be okay for this game?
I don't know. I don't know. But they don't have a tight end that I'm really that concerned about. If it's going to be Colby Parkinson, I'm not worried at all. But, yeah, they're going to try to probably scheme something up. The Eagles will probably counter that, running a lot of dime where you're only going to have Zach Bond on the field in pass coverage situations. But now who's your fifth corner? Well, not your fifth corner, your sixth cornerback. That's defensive back that's on the field because you're going to have Slay and Quinion. You'll have Cooper DeJean. You'll have Reed Blankenship and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. If they come out in dime, who's that sixth guy that you can trust? Avante?
I don't trust them. All right, we'll come back. We got some calls. We'll get to everybody. We got more texts. Eagles and the Rams. That's your second round matchup. 5.5 is the spread. I don't like that number, but I like the Eagles to win. The Mike Missanelli Show continues. Listen, sometimes I know I get on the soapbox about issues that I think are really important to examine. And our chat board here on YouTube is making me nuts. Bill, there are actually people saying this guy didn't deserve to have his life ruined. He didn't have his life ruined. He's just going to lose a job out of it. He's going to learn a major lesson about life, right? You don't know what that woman did. Now, what could that woman in a Packer jersey have done that would precipitate a reaction like that from that guy? There's a fundamental right and wrong here. Like, what could she have done? But let's just stretch it. Suppose she called him a name. I don't know. What could she have called him? This is as bad. What that guy did was as bad as what Riley Cooper did many years ago when he used that word in public and actually kept his job over it. But when you come out and you say something like that, all that makes you is a misogynist creep. So if the ramification of that for you to learn that lesson is to lose your job, then that's righteous.
Yeah, there are people on the YouTube chat, you're right, who were saying,
Go ahead. Give me some of these YouTube chatters, because I want you to call the station. We'll have a discussion about this. Why you wouldn't think this is a heinous thing for that guy to do?
So just looking for some of the comments because it's been going back and forth, but a guy, Josh, on here has been very, very defensive of the person who used the word and says here, I promise you, this is just an internet thing. In person, you're not getting thrown out for using that word.
See, that's a man who does not understand a woman's rights. That's a bottom line. You're not giving enough substance to how a woman would feel. If you think it's bad, and this, whoever wrote that probably doesn't, but can you use the N-word in public without being called upon?
You shouldn't use it in public or
so why can you use the C word to a woman? Because it's a man looking at that and going, oh, that's not that big of a deal. Well, it makes you a moron. It makes you somebody who doesn't understand society.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think a far majority of people are on our side on this, that it was unacceptable. There's a reason why the guy was identified. There's a reason why his job's now made aware of it, because you don't do this.
Listen, I get it, because I saw the social media reaction, and more people were offended. I get it. But to me, it's the people who aren't offended that bug me the most. Like, this should be 100% acceptance on this issue.
I agree. Yeah, it's unacceptable. And again, like what we're talking about is she's wearing a Green Bay Packers jersey or whatever the hell she's wearing. I'm sure, yeah, she's cheering for her team. And we didn't see before the video. We don't know what she was saying, but I'm with you on this. No matter what she's doing, cheering on her team, or even if she's taunting, which it didn't look like, at least the part we saw, you don't have to respond this way. I've never called a woman this in 41 years.
Was this woman that threatening in whatever form to that guy where he had to unleash a barrage? And I guarantee you alcohol was involved here. But again, that's another lesson you learn.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to learn hard lessons. I've learned hard lessons in my life. I've lost jobs based on hard lessons.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I mean, in some respects, people are saying, oh, the guy's life got ruined. The guy's lucky that this woman's husband didn't knock him out. I mean, really, because if someone does that to my wife in front of me, you know how hard it's going to be to control yourself in that environment, to not stand up for her?
I just had to address it, folks, because it's a current issue. And then, it's like this guy, we were on the air yesterday. This guy was identified. They had his picture. Whoever, we recognized him right away. Boom. Here's who he is, blah, 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 blah. So it wasn't a big revelation that Big Dom found out who he was and they're going to take his Eagles tickets away from him. He was identified on social media. That's what happens these days, whether it's fortunate for you or unfortunate for you. Let's go to Brad in Deptford on this issue. Brad, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Hey, how you doing, Mike?
What's up, Brad?
Hey, good. So, hey, what this dude was saying on camera was totally uncalled for, and I'm not going to disagree with you. But here's what I'm going to tell you what I don't like. So the Packers, the husband of the Packers fan there, he wore a freaking like shoulder harness camera like over himself coming up to the section. He came there looking for what he got.
Oh, come on.
He came there trying to get a reaction.
Come on, Brad. Come
Whoa,
on.
whoa, whoa! It's not right. I'm not agreeing with what the guy says. But what I don't agree with is this guy coming in and then trying to look for trouble.
And so you excused the trouble. You blamed
No,
the guy.
no, not at all.
You blamed the guy who was looking for trouble rather than the guy who was the trouble.
No, that guy's a jerk. He deserves what he got.
Oh, okay. Well, then,
know.
like, who cares?
I don't know
Whether
if
the
he
guy
deserves
brought
to lose.
the guy brought a
Nah.
camera harness. Okay, so what? Suppose he had nothing to film, and he would have nothing to film if that guy didn't act like an idiot.
For sure, you're absolutely right. But why when you're going out with your wife?
There's no but here, Brad.
No, there is a but.
No, there's not.
Why would you put your wife in a position to be talked like that? They were.
Well, how did he put his wife in a position?
Because he was running his mouth. The camera doesn't show that. And now he put his wife in a position to where she was getting out. Now, what man would put his wife in a negative position like that?
Listen, it's
I got nothing.
Yeah,
I got nothing for Brad. I'm
the
sorry.
guy. Yeah, the guy who the husband apparently. My understanding is a Green Bay Packers podcaster. Mm-hmm. Like he does social media content for the Packers. So that's why he's wearing his camera. And once again, I'm okay if it's a friendly jeering at one another. Like you could have gone at the guy and been like, "Oh, the Packers stink. You got no shot. Jordan Love's overrated." Blah blah blah. Whatever. That's fine. There's no reason to cross the line. I don't care that the guy has a camera.
All right. So, but let's take it to the nth degree here. Suppose the guy did bring a camera because he wanted to trap Eagles fans to make a name for himself on social media. Does that mean that you fall into the trap? Like the logic here is beyond me. All right? I just don't understand. The guy who said the C word got what? Trapped into it? Or through his own lack of self-control did what he did?
I don't know, man. It's unfortunate that we even have to talk about it when we got.
All right, let's get another guy in here.
Yeah.
Let's go, Dave in Fort Washington, because I love to get the reactions like this because I frankly don't understand them, and this is why I would like to speak to people here. Dave in Fort Washington. Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, hey, who's this?
This is Fred.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Mike. Is
Yeah.
this Mike?
Yeah, this is Mike.
Okay, I usually don't listen to the show, but
Oh, good. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll put you on hold, and then maybe you can listen to the show, and you can learn something. Grant in Norristown. Grant, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Grant.
Hi, Mike. How you doing?
What's up, Grant?
I think the Eagles are going to end up losing this game because the California wildfires, the Washington Commanders and Detroit Lions want them to lose this game, and the Eagles didn't score as many points as the Rams. This team is a destined team, the Rams. They're fighting. They're fighting for their city, you know.
Yeah, but you see, Destiny doesn't win playoff games at another team's building when it's cold. When you have to fly on a short week across the country, Destiny doesn't play into this.
But don't they have a more recent Super Bowl than the Eagles?
Yeah, well, what's that mean? Who cares? What does that mean to this game that they have a Super Bowl more recent than the Eagles?
I think they win playoff games, right?
They do?
They definitely do. They have a more recent Super Bowl.
Okay, so how does that translate to them playing this Eagles team?
Well,
what are we doing today? what is this? What the hell is this first hour? The guy that I put on hold because he was rude, and you know, don't give me. I don't listen to your show. He was trying to make the point that the guy who uttered the C word has a First Amendment right. Now, are you freaking kidding me? That's your rationale? Bill, I swear to God, you're going to be off the end of this week. I might have to take off right now. 610-632-0975, back after this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
The Eagles host the Rams on Sunday. I'm Ray Dunn. This update is brought to you by Primo Hoagies. Bring friends and family together for the playoffs with the Primo Perfect Spread from Primo Hoagies. Order delicious catering trays, samplers, platters, and sides at order.primohoagies.com. The Los Angeles Rams took down the Minnesota Vikings 27-9 on Monday night, booking their trip to Philadelphia for the divisional round. It'll be the Eagles and Rams Sunday at 3 o'clock down at Lincoln Financial Field. The big storyline leading up to this one will be the Eagles passing offense, finding its groove again after an uneven performance against the Packers. Nick Sirianni spoke yesterday to the media and stood by the performance of his quarterback.
What I was so impressed by with Jalen, is he going to want plays back? Of course. In pressure situations when he needed to have extreme focus and lead us down the field to score, he did.
The Eagles offense got a rematch with the Rams defense that they scored 37 points against and gained 481 yards against back in November. Elsewhere, Flyers beat the Panthers 4-3 behind 2 goals from Noah Cates. 76ers return to action tonight. Front end of a back-to-back. Joel Embiid will be out as they host the Oklahoma City Thunder at 7 o'clock. You can listen to the game right here on The Fanatic. This update's also brought to you by Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell, a domestic litigation firm, is a partner you can count on. Call 866-323-7529 or visit CordellCordell.com. I'm Ray Dunn on the home of the 76ers and the Flyers. 97.5 The Fanatic, 97.5thefanatic.com.
thing, and then we'll move on from this topic. Or if you want to talk about it, that's fine. The guy who I put on hold, and probably because, and if you think I was out of line, put him on hold, that's fine. But you don't start a conversation by saying I don't listen to your show, bud. All right, that's not a good way to start a conversation, and it's insulting. All right, so I put him on hold because I wanted to still talk to him, but at that point I had to chill him. All right, so here's the thing that he was trying to make the case that freedom of speech applied here, that you have a right to say anything you want. Now, I will readily admit that you are free to say anything you want, except, and Bill and I all know this, to yell fire in a crowded theater. But when you say something and disguise it as freedom of speech, should that speech be offensive to someone, then you should feel the ramifications of saying that. All right? Freedom of speech has a very defined line of what you cross. And so if you say some racial epithet in a bank line or something, you're free to say that, but there should also be ramifications to that, whether you get a negative reaction from people, or whether you get thrown out of the bank, or whether you lose your job. That's the point of this. It's not freedom of speech. Yeah, of course the guy can say anything he wants. But again, there should be ramifications to what you say at a particular time to whom you say it to. Now, am I wrong?
No, that was well said. That was well said. And just because something may not be illegal to do doesn't mean that you're not going to have consequences for it with your employer or with the public around. So I'm with you on this.
So it unnerves me that anyone would support the C-word utterer, because you know what I think of? When you defend something like that, that means you're protecting your right to do the same thing. And if you're protecting your right to do the same thing, then we're not eliminating it.
Yeah. That was in the YouTube chat. The person who was kind of defending it, the one person said, just don't call women that word and you'll be fine. What are you worried about? You don't use the word. Don't call some stranger because she's wearing a Green Bay Packers shirt that word, and you're going to be fine. It's ridiculous. All right. I know. Mike's all worked up.
I try to get, like, I don't know. I'm trying to reach a medium with people when it comes to issues like this, so we can all, like, be on the same page about certain things. Because if we're not, then society continues to be fragmented. And I'm all for a together society, right? So if you're going to defend harsh speech like this for freedom of speech, like, I want to know where you're coming from. Does that preserve your right to say it? Is that what you're afraid of? Giving up your right to call a woman the C word with 7 beers in you at an Eagles game? These are the things I don't understand.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time understanding it, too.
All right. You are listening to WPEN and WPEN HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station, broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studios, powering possibilities. All right, let's get to the Dan Orlovsky commentary, because he's being challenged by another quarterback here on his view. Orlovsky put out something yesterday where he examined tape and said, all these people that are on Jalen Hurts, look at what he's looking at. Every progression that he has in this play is covered. So basically, this is a Kellen Moore problem and not a Jalen Hurts problem. That was his point, basically. But we have Dan Orlovsky talking about this. Here it is.
No one was open. Now, if you were asking me, is this a quarterback like a Lamar or a Joe Burrow that is a sudden quarterback that does play bang, bang in their pass game, then maybe he could fit a 5-yard route in here or there. But that's not Jalen's game. That's never been Jalen's game, is like this crazy, on-time, rhythm-centric quarterback with their pass game. So, no one was open. I think the second thing, and I want to be very clear, this wasn't like an A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith problem problem where they're just getting gloved up. I truly believe that Green Bay had a great feel for what pass concepts were coming out of what formations or what situations. The big thing is this: there's very little in the middle of the field for Philly's pass game, pass concept wise. There's very little layered pass concepts. It is a little bit easier for a defense to defend, in my opinion. I think that's where my concern is a little bit more than, Jalen.
Oh, so we lost it there, but you get the point of what Orlovsky's saying. He's saying the play designs are not, but then he contradicted himself because he said this is the quick passing game is not Jalen's game. Well, it's not Jalen's game, then why would they put it in there? So my question is, why isn't it Jalen's game? Like for a fully developed offense, that's got to be part of Jalen's game. So that's where I leave Orlovsky. But I get his point when he breaks it down with the film, and you have to see it, that the patterns were not quick developing patterns, and hence they were coverable. And this guy waits for it to be open. And so another quarterback weighs on this, and he goes down that path. And of course, he's known as the Beard. Now, go ahead.
Fitzmagic.
Fitzpatrick, who has played a lot more football in the NFL than Orlovsky, but it doesn't matter. If you're a quarterback, you've been coached, and you know concepts, and you've been in film rooms and the whole bit. And he has the opposite view.
Yeah, so underneath the video that Orlovsky tweeted out showing that the Packers were all over the Eagles receivers in the passing game, Ryan Fitzpatrick comments underneath of it. I don't agree with this take at all. The drop-back pass game is about timing, accuracy, and making quick decisions. Just because there aren't guys with 5 yards of space around them doesn't mean they aren't open. So he's disagreeing with Orlovsky, saying, no, Hurts basically has to throw the guy open. You've seen that before. In the NFL, you're not going to have wide-open receivers all the time. I don't know. I'm leaning more towards Orlovsky, though, on it, because I did watch a lot of the passing game again. There was not a lot to be made in the game for Jalen Hurts. And I also think, Mike, when they went up 10-0 in that football game, and it became clear to everyone, including you, because you texted me, that the Packers had nothing offensively. I think the game plan at that point for Jalen Hurts is, don't take any chances. Protect the football. They're not going to be able to score enough points to beat us, so why take any chances down the field? Why put the ball into any tight windows? And Jalen did exactly what we needed him to do. Don't turn it over and win the damn game.
His MO has not been to take chances all year. And we go back to the start of the year, there was that transformation. But when Fitzpatrick says, throw a guy open, look at the patterns we're talking about that Orlovsky looked at. You're not throwing the guys open. Those aren't patterns where you can throw a guy open. These are long curls, and where you got a guy that's trying to glove you, as Orlovsky would say. So, yeah, throwing a guy open is when you got a quick slant, boom, you can throw a guy open, but not on those patterns. So, I don't know where to go on this. The play design, the thing that bothered me that Orlovsky said was Jalen's not that type of quarterback. Well, let's become that type of quarterback. I don't understand how you work with this guy all year and not design better pass calls to get quick yardage. This is the thing I don't understand about the Eagles offense.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the Pro Football Focus numbers here. Looks like Jalen threw 5 passes in between the numbers. So when Orlovsky's talking about it not really utilizing the middle of the field, they didn't use the middle of the field that often. Only 5. It looks like a lot more was to the outside. 4 of his completions were behind the line of scrimmage, so they tried to keep things quick, short in that respect. But we've seen Hurts do it before. I know that it's not a huge part of his game like Orlovsky's talking about, but we have seen Hurts make big throws at times to win games. He doesn't have to have 300 yards on Sunday against the Rams for them to win that game. They're going to lean on the run. I know you're saying the Rams are going to come out and try to stop the run. I'm sure they were trying to stop the run when they gave up over 300 yards in Week 12.
I also think they're going to try to put heat on Hurts. And I think that so benefits the Eagles because that allows him to then play free, dance out of there, and get 20. Those are the plays that are going to break the Rams back, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm pulling up now. I want to see how often do they normally blitz the Rams. So, they're kind of middle of the pack. They blitz 23%
but
of the
they've
time.
got good rushers. They've got really good pass rushers. And occasionally they'll throw, like against Darnold last night, it's easier to do because he's got happy feet also. He's not a slider, as Troy Aikman was pointing out last night. He doesn't slide into pocket. He tries to maneuver and run, and choppily run. Hurts is going to, like, if you do that to Hurts is going to escape you. Like, you can't let him get outside you. And I think the Rams are going to let him get outside when they do sort of that blitz. He's savvy enough to dodge that guy who's coming in from the corner.
He is savvy enough to dodge that guy coming in from the corner. And then, to your point, he dodges that guy. He's also going to make a positive play when he takes it on his legs.
Yeah.
So I don't see the Rams having that same level of success like they've had. And I'm just looking. I told you that the defense has been impressive the last 4 games that their starters have played. They only averaged 8 points against, which is wild. But I'm looking at the teams they did it against. They did it against the 49ers, who are basically dead. The New York Jets, who, come on, they're the Jets. They did it against the Arizona Cardinals, who are not a very good team. And they did it against the Vikings last night with Sam Darnold at quarterback. This Rams team, they're not going to have success on either side of the ball, in my opinion, against this Philadelphia Eagles team.
All right, so I'm going to try to tell everybody what you're missing about this Eagles team if you're focused purely on the fact that Jalen Hurts doesn't throw for 300 yards. But a member of the family even kind of got in on Jalen. And we're going to play that audio after this.
The Philadelphia 76ers
All right, so tomorrow's General Knowledge Wednesday. We haven't done it. We have a couple weeks gap.
Did you see
the Ray's back in play tomorrow? This would be your last day here.
I'm hoping, yeah. Did you see the one good prize we have?
We do have. We're giving away 2 prizes tomorrow.
Yeah, notice I said one I thought was good.
Yeah, all right, so go ahead. Give me the one you think is good.
Well, the one that I think is good is not the Sixers game. It's the Metallica tickets.
Metallica tickets.
How about that?
It's your choice of the house. It's like when you won at the boardwalk. Choice of the house.
Yes, when
you had to get 7 wins to get the bigger, the stuffed animal. But choice of the house. What do you get? Well, it's a little snake, or it's just a little mouse. But you can trade that in if you win again.
Yeah, or though if you did the water pistol game.
Oh, I love that.
If it was a full house, usually it was choice. Yeah. That was always fun.
I'd
I was
be recruiting people, as many people to play against you.
Yeah, I was always pretty
good.
Yeah,
you want to get there when you want to go against the competition. But see, I would like to go when there's 3 people there, so I could just sharpen my eye.
There you go.
Like it was like a practice session.
Well, the key was always when it started, you had to target right away.
Yeah,
that was your only shot. You had to be on the target right away. You know what game I spent way too much money on? Well, I guess my parents spent way too much money on. The quarter flip, where you tried to get it to land on the plates.
Impossible.
Yeah,
and the hoop on the Coke bottle.
That is impossible, right?
It's impossible.
Can
totally
anybody
impossible.
win that?
Totally impossible. And the dime, you used to throw a dime on the spot. Right?
Yeah. I never liked the bottle one that you're talking about where you throw, but I always loved the quarter one.
It's for the kids. The kids, the parents waste like $40. Well, because it's so easy to throw a little hoop. But it's funny because I grew up why we went to Wildwood every year.
So did we. Yeah, that was our
same week, the same hotel, the same meal plan every year. Right? So,
it was a good boardwalk though.
So, like you meet people there. They're like people come from. So I got to be friends with this kid. His name was Charlie Veneziano. He was from Nutley, New Jersey. A lot of Italians up in Nutley, right? So he was my running buddy. So he was older than me. So he was just like showing me the ropes on how you can win stuff. He was the master of the softball in the basket.
Really?
Yes, which is impossible.
That is hard.
It's impossible. Really. You can't, it's literally impossible. With the angle the basket's on, the hardness of the softball, you can't get it if you're doing it conventionally to sit in that basket.
You got to spin it and almost hit the front rim.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. So here's the way he did it. He would toss it off the top rim of the basket, and it would come down and stick. And he took, I swear to God, he had these monster gorilla stuffed animals, and polar bears. He's taking them, right? And so they finally they caught on to it, and they banned it.
So that always bothers me. The guy figures out how to do it. Why should he be banned? Same thing with counting cards at the casino. Why should that be banned? It's a skill.
It is a skill. I totally agree with you.
I had a math teacher in high school that we found out knew how to count cards and had been banned from a couple of casinos. So I tried to get him to teach me how to do it, but never got there. I feel like I have a brain that I could make that work. I kind of have like a
I wouldn't have the patience for that. I'd have to cheat like those 2 guys did in casino. With that wire that would tap in their thigh.
And then they have. Are you left-handed or right-handed?
Yeah. Can you do that with your right hand? No. Bam, bam, bam. Well, don't get the chainsaw, too. I don't understand how they let the other guy off the hook, though. The other guy, you could either have the money or you could go.
Yeah,
of course I'm going to go. I'm going to get beat up?
Yeah, the other poor bastard.
All right. By the way, there was a woman on hold, and I apologize. Brittany, I know you wanted to talk about the guy. We can still talk about it. If you folks want to talk about that guy and whether it was right or wrong or to get timed down, the Eagles found out. They banned him the whole bit. I found out that he wasn't even a native in this area, so he's a late arriving Eagle fan. Not that should matter, but he's not like a Philadelphia fan. He would not be in the category of a Philadelphia fan. You didn't grow up with the Eagles. You grew up in Washington area.
Yeah,
right?
He's not one of us. We don't claim him at all.
Yeah. And I don't know, Brittany, you wanted to defend him or whether you wanted to rip in or whatever. We'll take opinions on this. 610-632-0975. Let's go to the text board. And then I want to let you hear a clip He just got honored here, too.
Yeah, he was there.
He just got honored, this guy who said this about his quarterback.
I thought Jalen was his buddy.
I don't know. Maybe not. There are a lot of people that are saying, well, he didn't really mean it to Jalen. He meant it to Chase Daniel. I don't know what the deal is. But let's first of all go to the text board, Ray. What do we have?
Yeah, I'll balance it out with a couple of pro Jalen texts here. So some people right off the jump, when you said early on in the first segment we were getting into Jalen today, we got a text immediately. 2 touchdowns, no turnovers, double-digit win. You want more? Question mark.
Yeah, well, here's what the people, the detractors, just look at a number and they go, "Well, he wasn't good," but they don't look at the balance that makes him like not need 300 yards. Like they don't look at the fact that like he's going to bust up this team with runs. That Saquon Barkley is going to get 125 yards. That this offensive line is going to like really do damage against this young Rams defensive line. The defense overall, which restricts you. Like, I don't understand why you don't put it all in the basket, mix it up, spill it out, and you go, well, that's pretty good what just spilled out, right?
Yeah, if you watched other games this weekend and last night, you saw what a really bad game from a quarterback looks like. If you watched Justin Herbert, if you watched Sam Darnold last night, that's not what Jalen Hurts did on Sunday. Jalen Hurts, like I said, once they went up 10-0, I really believe that the game plan changed a little bit. You didn't need to win in the passing game. You knew, look, we got to get out of here. This team can't score against our defense. We're not going to do anything to put the ball at risk, and Jalen didn't do that.
Yeah, survive it, get out of town, improve for next, have a better game plan for next week.
Yeah, and
That's
honestly, when you go back and watch the game, outside of maybe the tush push, the tush push fake where he threw it to AJ, which I didn't think AJ looked like he was 100% on that play. I don't remember seeing Jalen make any really bad throws. I mean,
he threw behind Goddard and made that catch. He threw in front of Goddard, who snared it with one hand. Like he wasn't sharp.
He wasn't sharp, but I also didn't look at it and say, "Oh man, we're in trouble." Like Jalen, literally, we were talking about the text message I got from my cousin. I wasn't watching that game saying they got to get Tanner McKee in there, but the family member you're talking about with the Eagles actually went there.
Yeah,
he actually went
and
there.
So let's ID him because on the other side we're going to play his quote. LaShawn Shady McCoy, who just got honored by the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't know if he got absorbed by the media blitz on Jalen Hurts or what, but on the other side, we'll hear what LaShawn McCoy had to say about the Eagles quarterback. Don't go away.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Eagles host the Rams on Sunday. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. The Los Angeles Rams took down the Minnesota Vikings 27-9 on Monday night, booking their trip to Philadelphia for the divisional round. It'll be the Eagles and Rams Sunday at 3 o'clock down at Lincoln Financial Field. The big storyline leading up to this one will be the Eagles passing offense finding its groove again. Nick Sirianni spoke yesterday to the media and stood by the performance of his quarterback on Sunday.
What I was so impressed by with Jalen is he going to want plays back, of course. In pressure situations when he needed to have extreme focus and lead us down the field to score, he did.
Eagles offense will get a rematch with the Rams defense that they scored 37 points and gained 481 yards against in November. Elsewhere, Flyers beat the Panthers 4-3 behind 2 goals from Noah Cates, and the 76ers returned action for the front end of back-to-back tonight. Joel Embiid will be out as they host the Oklahoma City Thunder at 7 o'clock. You can catch the live call, that one right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. This update's brought to you by Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship coming in January 25th, the biggest fighting event ever to hit Philadelphia. Knuckle Mania 5 from Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship, Saturday, January 25th at the Wells Fargo Center. I'm Ray Dunn, the home of the 76ers and Flyers. 97.5 The Fanatic, 97.5thefanatic.com.
Yeah, right? So be interesting to hear what Kellen Moore has to say when he's going to be asked questions. Hey, your play design, a lot of people thought it was ass. So what do you have to say about that?
Yeah, I'm curious, too, if he's going to get asked if he's interested in the Dallas job, because there's some rumblings coming out of Dallas.
As well. And he'll go, well, obviously, we're going to obviously take care of that down the line, but obviously right now it's obviously not the time. That's what he'll say.
Exactly.
Right?
That's exactly what
Exactly. And then we'll hear Vic Fangio. All right, how do you defend Puka Nakua?
Yeah, how do you replace
Cooper
Jacoby?
Kupp? They're not fleet of foot, but they run great patterns.
No, and Puka, for being a small guy, man, he's
Powerful
guy.
Yeah, last night he bullied a couple people.
But I just love the way the Eagles match up with this Rams team. And I kind of like it better than the Vikings. I know offensively the Vikings with Sam Darnold, people would take that over Matt Stafford. But defensively, Brian Flores is not a bad defensive coordinator for the Vikings. And I was concerned he maybe would have dialed some things up that could have confused the Eagles. I'm just not seeing that with this Rams team. I know they have guys that could come after the quarterback, but...
Yeah, I have no fear the Eagles are going to lose this game. But again, the 5.5 line freaks me out always, no matter who's playing. So now let's get to the audio here of one LaShawn Shady McCoy. I got to be honest with you, I'm tainted with Shady. Every time I think of him, I can't get it out of my mind. Him dousing a woman with Kool-Aid and throwing her out of the bus or the 30-cent tip. I've been tainted. So
I forgot about the 30-cent tip.
Yeah, so I can't look at him ever the same way. But he's on a big show now, and he's allowed to commentate. And it looked like he was really taking shots at Hurts. Now, I know people that watch this whole show. I didn't watch the whole show. I just heard the clip. So maybe there's a context to this. But here's Shady McCoy kind of laying the wood on Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Carter don't want to give you everything because he don't have to because the offense is playing well. What are we talking about? If Jalen Carter had that attitude, if Darius Slay had that attitude, we don't win that game. Think about it, though. True. So we all got to do our job, but you don't? I used to think like that. Like, hey, we won the game. Why you care about? No. If them backup quarterbacks for my team, for my Eagles played, we smoked the Packers. Let me say it again. If the backup quarterbacks, because we're going to talk about rust, them dudes don't even play. Backups don't get no chance to, like, knock their rust off. They got to go out there and play. Tanner goes out there and puts up. Come on.
Well, so he's saying that you got to you have a responsibility and you can't be excused by rust. Like backup quarterback is supposed to go in there and do the job. So why wouldn't your starter do the job? So he's basically taking a shot at Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, and he says if the backup quarterback, so if Tanner McKee or Kenny Pickett had played in that game, they would have smoked him. And then it sounded as if, Ray, and maybe you know more about the context of it, Ray, that he was questioning Hurts' effort because he's saying, right, he was questioning Hurts' effort in the game, which I think that's now crossing the line. Well, you don't think Jalen Hurts wants to win a playoff game?
Yeah, I maybe he's caught up in hot take TV world at this point.
And here's what bothers me the most. 1 hour ago, now this is LaShawn McCoy saying that yesterday. 1 hour ago, this is Shady McCoy's tweet. Oh, man, woke up this morning excited. Rams got an ass beating coming. Easy work. No, Shady. No.
That's the way. That's the way to make people forget what you just said.
Yeah, come on, Shady.
It's a narrow view, Shady. Come on now.
I saw last night you tweeted something to the effect of "We're going to get him," and someone quotes you with "we."
Yeah. Well, he said our team. The backup quarterback's on my team. Talking about the Eagles.
The coordinator is coming up at 11:30, but let's see if we could squeeze in one of our favorite callers before that. Ish from Levittown. Ish, how you doing?
Hey guys, how are you?
Good.
With Shady really wasn't taking a shot at Jalen. He was just stating the point about not how Jalen played, but if a backup QB came in and actually played, he really wasn't taking a shot at him. In my opinion, he wasn't. The context of that show is all about, like you said, hot takes. And he was just agreeing with Acho and the other guy that was on there.
Yeah, but he still agreed with him. Like it still comes off as a way when you say if a backup that comes in there, we would have smoked them, meaning that a backup has to be ready to play. You're insinuating that your starter wasn't ready to play.
No, but I'm saying Shady is saying if he was in that game, if Shady was in that game and the backup quarterback was in that game, he's saying himself, not particularly Jalen though.
Okay, all right.
But Another thing is about the Rams game. I think the Eagles will win, and I really don't fear the Rams that much. But only thing I do question is because Sean McVay and Matt Stafford do have experience, so that's the only thing I fear about it. But I think we should win the game.
Yeah, I mean, Stafford's going to make some good throws. He's going to hit up and
one more point.
but he's going to also put it up for grabs, I think.
Jalen has to pass the ball to AJ and Devontae. One reception for 10 yards is not good, even in the playoffs. So
I agree, and maybe Kellen Moore will be asked about that. Why do you not scheme AJ Moore? Obviously, he wasn't excited about his lack of targets and catches because we know he brought out a book to keep himself in it.
Oh, Ray, did your book come yet?
No, like I said, I don't have Prime.
Ray's not inspired today.
Tomorrow.
Ray will be inspired by tomorrow.
Tomorrow night, I'll be reading. Don't worry.
Tomorrow night.
Yeah, I think I'm going to bring it tomorrow to the Sixers-Knicks game to keep me mentally sane during that game.
I hope you get it before tomorrow's show because you got General Knowledge Wednesday. You need to be inspired, man.
That's a good point. That's a really good point.
You could get a rush delivery on that?
You think Ray was paying the extra money to rush the delivery?
Well, what is it? Come with slow boat?
Probably.
Your book?
I don't know.
When's it coming? When you get a notice?
Tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow it's
tomorrow
coming.
Come.
Prime is worth it, Ray. It's worth the extra money to be an Amazon
But
Prime.
think about how much I order stuff.
Do you
I
order
have a
stuff
Target that's a walk away. That Target is my livelihood. I get food there.
You are so much older than your age.
Yeah.
I feel like most people your age, they're not going to the brick and mortar anymore. They're ordering everything online. Not Ray Dunn.
No, I need to get my exercise. Come on.
You know, I ordered cleaning products the other day. I got a grocery store in a corner from me.
But you still order online?
I went. I don't feel like getting up and going there. So I go, boom, less toil and spray and wash.
What's less toil?
Like, less toil is the most underrated product in the history of cleaning products.
What do you?
Now, this goes way back in time. You can't find less toil much anymore. It'll take out any stain that you have. Okay, you check it out. Less toil. And this is my mother discovered the secret way back in the day. You got a stain, grass stains. I always had grass stains on my baseball uniform. Boom, you put a little, you let it sit in there for a couple hours. Whoop, here comes that stain out.
Oh, okay. I've seen this before. I think my grandmother must have this.
Your grandma definitely had it.
Yeah, I've seen
They used to clean the floors with it, the whole bit.
Correct. I think she uses it on the floor.
But you can't get it in a lot of people. I think Acme still carries it, so you got to go online to get your less toil. And it's not cheap. Vic Fangio's up. Let's listen to him.
Good to see everybody.
Vic, what will your defense miss most with Nakobe being out?
His good play. You know, he's really played good for us this year. Gotten better and better as the season wore on. He had the green dot, was a call leader out there and making the calls that ILBs have to make. So we're going to miss him a ton.
Does it change the way you call a game without him in there?
No.
Will that get the green dot now, or?
Yes.
Any thought about getting Trotter some reps out there? Is it going to just be Warren Burks, or how are you going to work that?
No, we'll probably get Trot. You know, we're not afraid to put him in there.
Vic, are the Rams a better team than when you played them in November?
Well, when you look at the Rams, you know, they started the year 1-4. They had a ton of injuries. Then they lost the last game of the season when they didn't play their regulars. You know, so that's 1-5. In between there, they're 10-2. So I think that answers your question.
Are you as comfortable with Burks and Trot and with blitzes like you were with Nakobe, or do you have to kind of see that in the game before?
No, you know, we'll call it as we see fit.
What has Trot shown you as a young kid?
Trot? Yeah, I think Trot's got a good future, and that future may be now. He's got good instincts, really likes the game. He's smart. You know, he's got a lot of good qualities.
What do you like about Orrin?
Orrin's a good athlete, can run. He's got experience playing. He's a good tackler, as we saw in the opening kickoff. And we like him, too.
Will it be a mix of them, or just one?
It could be. It could be.
Were you happy with the tackling against Green Bay?
No, particularly two plays in particular, we had multiple missed tackles. So no, we need to do better there this week. You know, these guys have, obviously Williams, the running back, is a good ball carrier, tough guy to tackle. All their receivers are good runners after the catch, as their tight ends are. So we need to improve there.
Or those two plays, like the Jacobs long run, I guess, and then the Jaden Reed.
Yeah.
When you've spoken about Nolan Smith this year, you keep talking about his improvement. Where specifically has he improved from start of the season to now?
In all facets of playing the edge for us. The run, the pass meaning rush the passer, pass meaning dropping when he does have to drop. He's improved in all areas.
I know the depth chart looked different before injuries there, but going into the year, what did you expect Nolan to contribute?
I didn't have any expectations. I shoot high, put no limits on anybody. And let's just see where he went, and he kept improving.
Is there something about the Georgia players that that when you look at them and you can say, yeah, I can tell he went to Georgia because of this?
Not really. And Kirby's a friend of mine. No, I mean, I don't pigeonhole him that way.
What was the key defensively the last time you guys played the Rams?
You know, they drove it on us early in the first drive of the game, and we got a takeaway. You know, early in the game, we weren't very sharp, and they were. And these guys are a very game plan specific team. You know, they're going to have a mode of operation of the way they want to attack you, and we got to be ready for that.
Why do you think Cooper DeJean had the success he had against Cooper Kupp in that first game?
I don't know that you can label it that way. We played a lot of zone, so I don't know that you can say he had great success one way or the other against any of their guys.
What are the difficulties of facing a quarterback with the experience like Stafford?
His talent and his know-how. He's still one of the top passers in the league. Very, very smart. Can read coverages, you know, like better than most, if not one of the top two or three. Can put the ball and still has tremendous arm talent, put the ball anywhere.
The first Rams game, you were, I think, in the most dime all year. What was the reason for that? And with Jacoby out, is that more pronounced going forward?
I don't remember the reason, and no.
Going back to Nolan for a minute, he had the one play where Jenkins was pulling across, bang, he hit him. Nolan hit Jenkins went out. Is that the kind of play that you know, you'll show in the week after as like an example of, I don't know, like hard, tough play or whatever? What kind of, I mean, that's like not a highlight play, I guess, within the scope of the game, but it is a play that did have an impact on the game because it went out. Just curious what your thoughts are on that.
Yeah, it was a really good play, and he wasn't the only one that was really good on that play. Everybody on that side of the ball from the nose over played that play well. And yes, it was a good play for us.
Milton Williams, another guy that had an impact in that game the first time around. You know, how key is he going to be, you know, in this matchup?
Well, everybody that's out there is going to be key. And Milt had a good game the other night, or late afternoon, whatever you call it. Yeah, we need everybody to play good. When you're playing a quality offense like this team is, you got to play good.
When you're playing so much zone, what does it take to be buttoned up when you're passing it off?
Practice reps, experience, game reps, meetings, all of that.
Bryce only played one snap. What went into that?
You know, we had a good three-man rotation with the other guys, and we just stuck with it.
Zach was saying that his interception was an example of how he kind of felt trust in the system to make adjustments. When did that happen, and how did that happen?
It just happens organically over time. You know, you can't put your finger on one moment.
First we talked to you since he was named an All-Pro. You know, how did you talk to him about that? What are your kind of thoughts on his year?
Well, obviously, he's had a great year. I think exceeded most everyone's expectations, probably even himself. But now there is no limitations. He's set a standard for himself, and he's got to show up and do it every week.
Couple more?
How big of a deal is it to have a different linebacker pairing after a season full of, two high-level guys doing it all year? Now a new person, or maybe two new people are coming in.
It's an adjustment. They haven't had the amount of reps together that Zach and the Kobe did. So, yeah, it's an adjustment. But we practice them that way. I kind of have a little rule not to put two backup linebackers in practice together because that's not how it's going to happen in a game. So they've been out there together in practice.
What's the benefit of playing both Oren and Trot if you do go that way as opposed to just having one guy out there? Would it be situational?
Part of it is those two guys are on all special teams. So depending upon the flow of the game, kind of like when the Kobe didn't play against Dallas, I guess it was, they had like 7 or 8 play drive and we had the pick 6. Then they got the ball right back and drove it for like a 9-play drive. And then we went 3 and out on offense. So we had a bunch of plays right in a row there in a short span. So something like that would be a good time to sub them.
A few years ago, Sean McVay named you as the toughest defensive coordinator to go against in his mind. What makes him so tough to go against?
He's got a great offense that he has great command of. And he's a really good play caller during the game. He can change gears on you at a moment's notice. And he's one of the top play callers in the league for sure, without a doubt.
That's one pressure on the Slay interception. What do you like about him as a situational pass rusher from the interior, and how has he improved, I guess, throughout?
Yeah, I thought he played very well the other day. And he wasn't in there just in passing situations. He was being rolled in all situations. And I thought he played very well. He does have the ability to rush the passer, but for an undersized guy, he can anchor in the run too. But very pleased with the way he played the other day.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right, it's Vic Fangio. Sometimes I feel like he'd rather have his toes painted by Dumphy than go through a press conference. I love how you start. Well, you missed the Kobe team. Well, what are you gonna miss about him? Well, it's a good play. And he gives you a no, yes, not really. Yeah.
He has no time for your generic storyline question. What's the key to this game?
He does not have time for any of you trying to do a story.
But honestly, I'd rather that than what we're going to get coming up next with Kellen Moore.
I want to hear, this is important, what we're going to hear from Kellen Moore. So we'll take a break. We'll come back. The offensive coordinator is in the spotlight after this.
It's time for Birds Playoff Conversation.
11:47, Mike Missanelli Show. We just heard from Vic Fangio on Coordinators Day. It is now time for the big one, the offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore. Here he is.
How do you evaluate the passing game after Sunday? Jalen didn't make any mistakes, no turnovers or anything, threw a couple touchdowns, but then there was a long gap without a lot of production. How do you look at it?
Passing game obviously wasn't our best performance. Certainly, every person involved would love to have it be cleaner. Play better in that aspect of the game. But I thought our guys, again, Jalen's credit, played clean football as far as protecting the football, gave us opportunities. We made plays in some situations when we had to, and obviously that's sometimes how games go. Unfortunately, obviously something that we're all excited to navigate and find better answers moving forward.
How much were you surprised by some of the coverage looks they gave you?
Anytime you go into playoff games, people are going to stress you and challenge you on the best levels. You're playing the best defense in this league. That's how playoff games are. They're going to give you different looks, different presentations, and I think for us the exciting part is how we navigate that and execute it in those situations.
When you have in the first meeting, Saquon had such a dominant game. How do you navigate that? Do you expect going in and he'll be the focus?
Certainly, Saquon had a great day out there. Long time between those two games. A bunch of other games. They're playing as well as any defense in the league right now, and they're playing really confidently. And so, obviously, they'll stress us in a lot of different ways. There'll be challenges associated with our run game based off of them having that film and the film that they put out the last month and a half, which has been really, really impressive. So, it'll be a challenge.
Behind that defensive ascension from what you've seen?
Playing really clean, really sound football. You can tell just every phase of that defense is tied together, and obviously the front is doing an excellent job getting pressure. And the challenge when you get an obvious passing situation, those guys are as good as it gets in this league collectively.
Jalen had his fewest number of carries in a game he completed, and some of many design runs. Was that by design? To not have him run much?
We certainly had runs within the game plan associated for Jalen to run. He felt comfortable and excited about those opportunities as it went. The way the game played out. He ended up only keeping it a few times, but I don't think there was any cause for concern or hesitancy about it. I thought he went in there, and when he did have the opportunity to run it, he ran it and gave us positive plays.
The general feel that game called for more of a conservative offensive game plan, not pushing the ball downfield, taking a lot of chances, running on third and long, that kind of thing.
I think certainly you'd love to have more opportunities downfield. You'd love to have those explosive play opportunities, and sometimes they didn't present themselves. Obviously, we were able to grind it out as the game progressed with some run game emphasis as the game ended. Obviously, there's things, each and every game that you come out of it, you'd love to do different things, love to call a few plays here and there that are different. You're going to come out of every game that way. And so at the end of the day, we accomplished the number one goal, which was advance in this tournament. And, obviously there's things that we'll look back and say, hey, we want to improve on that and improve on that. And that's the beauty of this group, that they're ready to do that.
Do you think there's enough variety in the passing game right now?
I think that's always something you're trying to strive for, just different presentations, different challenges to stress the defense and give yourself different opportunities. Something we're trying to do each and every week. And, as the season progresses, that's the balancing act of flavor and different looks and different presentations with, an identity and an ability to kind of do the things that you've repped a lot of times.
Kellen, the Rams have so many young guys up front. Have they gotten better because they're finally starting to get to play together as a group?
Anytime guys play together, build cohesiveness, build connection, they're going to play better and better and better. And they got an excellent staff over there. Obviously, Giff, the defense line coach I was with in L.A., he's one of the best in the business. He does an excellent job getting those guys to play together and just play with the incredible effort that they play with. It's just really impressive on film. It's going to be a real big challenge for us.
You took a shot on the tush push on third down. What goes behind that? Is that something you see, or is that something you just wanted to take a shot in that situation?
It was a play that we've had in for a number of weeks. We're trying to find the right opportunity to present itself. Obviously, we feel really good about the sneak, and it was a 3rd and 1 that gave us, a chance to be aggressive there with the 4th and 1 in our pocket, and took a chance. Obviously, it's an aggressive call. We're close, but it didn't happen, and we'll see what happens next.
Even though you didn't complete it, did that still serve its purpose to put that on tape?
There's always value to the things that you put on tape to force teams to think about what has been done and what could be done. And so we took a shot. I thought it was worthwhile, and we were able to get the sneak on the next play.
Were there any restrictions?
But what did it mean to get him back into the mix with the starters in the first half?
Dallas has transitioned back into this thing beautifully. He made the big plays. He made the touchdown, which everyone sees. His blocking in the run game was huge. It was incredible. His ability to block on those edges against some really, really good defensive ends in this league, really challenging matchups. I thought that was really one of the secret sauces of what his game made his game so special on Sunday.
How did you and Jalen review his first game back after a couple games out?
Yeah, Jalen and really our whole offense staff, is a very similar process. I thought, we always come out of games, we can score a million points or no points. You're always going to come out of games with things that you want to improve on, things you feel like we can build off of. I thought Jalen responded really, really well. I thought, coming out of that thing, having not played for a few weeks, it wasn't perfect, but I thought he settled in. And, in that second half, we were able to play with some tempo, play with some pace. He was able to play some clean football and give us some opportunities to score down the stretch.
Jalen's trust level in Devontae is obviously really high. How important is Devontae in those clutch situations when you really need a play?
We got some premier players on this team that just seem like every time you need to make a play, they make it. And, Smitty's one of those guys. He's really reliable. He's trustworthy. His physicality as a player, I think, is always underlooked. His ability to go block in the run game, his ability to catch the ball and make plays out, he doesn't shy away from contact. And I think that's the beauty of his game, that he has so many aspects of it that he can utilize.
Your name is being linked to the Cowboys job. How did it end there from your perspective, and is that a job that would interest you?
Obviously, I spent a lot of time there, 8 years there, and so obviously have plenty of relationships about that place. And so, I love it here. I've had so much fun here. It's been a really fun process, and we're in a really special situation right now. Getting a chance to play this Sunday, have a chance to make a run at this thing, and that's really all you worry about. Everything else is what it is, and we'll see where it takes you.
How vocal has Jalen been since the start of him in your offense to now, in catering it to his likes and dislikes?
Jalen does an excellent job each and every week just preparing every game new, every game, different opportunities, different challenges, different presentations. I've really enjoyed how we collaborate on this game plan and build it each and every week with Jalen, with the rest of the staff. I think that's the cool part of it, and it takes the whole group, even on game day. The receivers' communication, the quarterbacks' communication, the O-line. I think that's one of the secret sauces of our group is how collaborative they are. It allows us to make the adjustments that we need on game day, and so Jalen's a huge key and aspect of that. His adjustment in the game, they were giving us a bunch of pressure that they hadn't shown in the red zone going into it, so obviously they kind of stalled us out, unfortunately. He made that signal adjustment to Dallas. Got the ball out of his hand, put himself in an excellent position to score that touchdown. That's big-time adjustment football that he made.
You talked about physicality with Devontae. When Dallas does that in a physical kind of way, what does that mean to the offense?
Our guys love that. Our guys strive on it. The physical way that we play, guys embrace it, and it shows each and every play by everyone.
All right. Thanks,
Thanks, guys.
All right. There was really one issue that I would have liked to have seen explored a little more. I love the guy who asked the question, you think there's enough variety in your offense? That's a delicate way of asking that question about the scheme being criticized, but I would have liked a direct kind of question. There are people around the league that are criticizing your scheme in that last game. Do you agree with that? And how did Jalen respond in that vein? I would have liked to have gotten a little more into that because that was the major issue.
Yeah, he probably would have skirted the question similar to the way he started the press conference, where he said, look, the passing game wasn't our best, but then he talked about Jalen and said he played clean football.
Yeah.
So, I think that's probably what he would have done. He did get asked about the Dallas job, interestingly, and I expected him to not shoot it down. He doesn't shoot it down. So he's saying he's interested. He spent a lot of time there. There's a possibility. We'll deal with that in the offseason, but I'd really hate to see, even if you don't agree that Kellen Moore is doing a great job, I know there are people who don't think he is, I don't want to see Jalen get another play caller next year, man. That would be, 12 in the last 11 years?
Yeah, and it's going to happen, I think. I think he's going to get that job. 610-632-0975. We'll take a break. We'll come back and discuss what was said in this press conference with their offense. The Mike Missanelli Show continues. By Service First Heating and Air Conditioning. It's 0% financing for 72 months. Get a $500 rebate when you purchase a complete heating and cooling system from Service First. Learn more at servicefirsthvac.com. All righty, so let's just revisit a little bit of what Kellen Moore said. Now, listen, I don't want to. This is just how I would do the job, right? The issue that is out here that we talked about, like the issue is that all these people that are examining film are saying, especially one of them who put it out video, that the scheme was the problem and not Jalen Hurts. So I would have liked to have heard more about that. Well, I asked a question. I go, there's some video out there. Like, I wouldn't even identify who it is. There's some video out there that's kind of showing that a lot of receivers were covered. They couldn't get open. Was that a problem with the scheme they were running? Was that a problem with Jalen's reluctance? And he's not. You just have to ask the question. He might not. He may answer it generally, which he usually does. But it's like people are criticizing the fact that you didn't scheme guys open. Like, I wanted to know that, or at least pressure him into that.
Yeah, you're right. He probably would have given a generic answer, but you got to at least try to put it out there. I think it's clear, though, is Jalen didn't have his best game, but I do think if you go back and watch, based off of what Orlovsky had said as well, I think a lot more of it was the scheme. I do. I think a lot more of it was the designs of the plays. And we'll see. Look, we've seen this before, that when the passing game has been questioned, coming out of the Carolina game, we were all questioning it. Nationally, locally, we're all questioning that passing game. And what happened against the Pittsburgh Steelers? Maybe their best passing performance of the season. So hopefully you get a similar thing occurs. Now, I don't think they're going to need the passing game that much this week against the Rams. I think the rushing attack will be strong enough. But maybe they refocus. Kellen Moore refocuses. Jalen Hurts, AJ, Devontae. Now, what's interesting, too, is back in that L.A. Rams game in Week 12 when they put up over 480, no Devontae Smith in that game.
Yeah.
So now you got your full complement of weapons, too, which is another advantage for the Eagles. So we will see.
All right. Let's go to the phones. What do you got? You got something there?
I was just going to ask you. So they just released the viewership numbers for Wild Card Weekend. You know what the most watched game of the whole weekend was?
Eagles-Packers.
Correct. 35.9 million viewers. It's the most watched game on Fox, I think, since 2017.
That was a setup question.
It was.
By the way, how'd you like Tom Brady's performance?
I don't think he's very good. I think it's awkward. He just sounds awkward.
He does sound awkward, and it didn't help his cause where he mispronounced names.
Yeah, he's just not that
come
great.
on, dude. You got to study the league. Like, you can't go Jurgens. Like, what they call it, the Eagles Center, Jurgens.
Yeah,
you're like, come on, dude. You got to know the league. It's almost like when I hear Mike Schmidt go do stuff like that. Even though, like, he's in Florida, like, he's not paying attention.
Yeah,
but you'll know he's not paying attention with some of the stuff he said. It's almost like Brady doesn't pay attention to the profession he's supposed to pay attention to.
Well, and you talk about pay attention, you find out as the broadcaster a week before the game, and then you're supposed to look. Ray, you do it every week. You study the names of the teams. You know how to pronounce the names of the teams. I mean, Brady's getting paid a lot more than you are.
That's very true.
He doesn't feel he needs to do that because he's Tom Brady.
But I still think Ray predicted this a few weeks ago. I think Brady walks away.
Yeah, he probably will. And I would too. Listen, running a NFL team is a lot more interesting than doing TV, in my view. Like, I would I would drop radio in a second if the Phillies called and said, we would like you to be the assistant general manager.
Yeah, now I would never leave you and Ray. That would be a tough decision. But yeah, my dream job in addition to this one would be general manager of a football team. Being Howie Roseman would be phenomenal. Maybe that's why I get so angry with Joe Shane. He has my dream job and he sucks.
I volunteered this to the Phillies before. You can even hire me as your Latin American scout. Now, I still have some Spanish brushing up to do, but I would go into Latin America. I go to the islands. Like, I would really be good at that. I think.
You think so?
Yeah, I think I could find an Acuna for you.
All right. Well, once we get this show to number one, then maybe we'll both pursue our dream job after. We got plenty of time in our lives.
No, I don't. You have plenty of time. I don't have plenty of time. I got like 5 years to find Juan Soto.
Well, quick story. I know we're up against it, but when I used to work for the Eagles, I went to Howie Roseman, told him I was in law school, this is what I wanted to do, and he had said, look, we have an unpaid internship. And at the time, I'm in law school, and I'm about to graduate, and I'm thinking, I can't take an unpaid internship to learn the tricks of the trade.
You should have.
Oh, in hindsight, 1,000%. I should have worked for free forever.
You tagging along with Howie on the field.
Be great.
Little Bill.
Well, I wasn't so little then
Howie.
either. I was a big meathead back then.
Well,
I was still like 240 when I was
that'd
on
be
the
perfect.
sidelines.
Yeah, Howie, I'm sure would be comfortable with the meeting.
But who knows, man? Maybe I could have been the GM of the Giants, and I wouldn't have traded away. I wouldn't have let Saquon walk out the door, man.
Wouldn't have taken so long to decide to bring Sirianni back. There would have been no question inside that front office.
That's the truth. All right, 610-632-0975. Take a break. On the other side, I got to touch on the Sixers and what happened yesterday with that crazy press conference where they said, well, we didn't really change our minds. I hate it. And I want to pry into the reason why Adam Silver would be able to have such suction on this matter. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Andrew Salciunas.
12:15, Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5 The Fanatic. Sixers tonight on 97.5 The Fanatic. Sixers 15-22, 6-11 at home, in peril of actually missing the playoffs because the rest of the Eastern Conference is not exactly cooperating. A lot of people are like, wow, all these teams are going to lose. Sixers will get in. But tonight, the Sixers, Ray, is this game in Philadelphia?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
The Sixers are an 11.5-point underdog at home tonight. KJ Martin out. Caleb Martin, game time decision. Joel Embiid out. Kyle Lowry out. Andre Drummond out. Paul George questionable. Hey, listen, your hard-earned money is going to see a lot of Justin Edwards and Jeff Dalton tonight, so don't worry about that.
I'll enjoy every second.
Oh, you're going tonight?
Yep.
Tonight's one of your games?
Tonight, one of the season ticket, one of my friends in this group, they were bringing someone, and that person has dropped, likely due to their interest in the team dropping.
Well, all right. So the bigger issue is this building and the arena and the mumbo jumbo that they tried to justify with at the press conference. I saw a lot of it, and I have to laugh. So the bottom line is that Comcast got in here, and as a new partner of the NBA, because you can see games on Peacock, and they made a multi-million-dollar deal. So Adam Silver comes in and goes, these are our new partners, these Comcast people, Mr. Harris, so make nice with them. And I go, the only reason they would do that, giving in, is because Adam Silver gave them a chip that they can cash in. Now, what that chip would be down the line, I have no idea. Suppose Josh Howard goes, yeah, okay, hey, call him up tomorrow. Hey, Adam, let's have the NBA All-Star game in our new building. But also, 2 years from now, let's have it where we get all the revenue from the All-Star weekend. You know something like that's coming. It's like in The Wire when Cedric Daniels said to Valchek, you mean I have suction with you now, Valchek? You remember that? So they gave it all up for suction with Adam Silver promising them something financial down the road. Now, if I'm the Sixers, I go, that destroyed my whole mission. I don't care, frankly, that Peacock and NBC and Comcast is involved in this NBA now. I still want my own building, but they gave it up for a reason that is going to benefit them somehow financially. You look at it, you go, well, 50-50 split's not really going to benefit them now financially when they could have got 100% of it. But there's something coming down the road that Adam Silver, like, I don't understand why Adam Silver would be worried about the disharmony between Comcast and the Sixers owners. How would that impact the NBA?
Yeah, I just shocked that you're not taking Josh Harris's word on this, that their North Star was doing the right thing by Philly. This had nothing to do with money, Mike.
The right thing by Philly.
This was doing the right thing by Philly.
We were told the right thing by Philly was to develop the Market Street area.
That's a quote, though. Our North Star.
Yeah, our North Star.
Was doing the right thing by Philly.
Like, dude. And then that Adelman, who I've requested to get on the air today, by the way. I made some calls. And, of course.
Well, we're still waiting for Daryl Moore.
Yeah, we apparently we have no suction with the team that we broadcast. So Adelman, I was told, was traveling. So, yeah, okay. I would travel, too, after that press conference. But you're the guy who was at war with Brian Roberts this whole time. And it took Adam Silver to come in and make some kind of a backdoor deal. And how does that benefit you? That's what I wanted to know in that press conference yesterday. All right, how exactly does this benefit your franchise, who for years has been clamoring about wanting 100% control of your own team and your own building and your own revenue? How does this benefit? Please explain this to the public.
I don't know.
Like a legitimate question. I don't know. I would like to know the answer to it. 610-632-0975. But 11.5-point dog tonight. Have fun down there at the Wells Fargo Center and the unnamed new building I got a suggestion for the Wells Fargo Center. Make it a community college.
Well, they're going to have to knock it down, aren't they?
Well,
just for space?
make it a community college. Why not?
Well,
I don't know where they're going to build this thing. So what are they going to do? They're going to demolish a perfectly good building, and then they're going to inconvenience everybody else's parking for all those other stadiums that are down there? Make it a community college. Do something good. The Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Fanatic Sports Update.
The Eagles host the Rams on Sunday. I'm Ray Dunn. This update is brought to you by Bradford White Water Heaters. When you need a new water heater, choose one that's built to be the best. Choose Bradford White. The Los Angeles Rams took down the Minnesota Vikings 27-9 on Monday night, booking their trip to Philadelphia for the divisional round. It'll be the Eagles and Rams Sunday at 3 o'clock down at Lincoln Financial Field. The big storyline leading up to this one will be the Eagles passing offense finding its groove again after an uneven performance against the Packers. Nick Sirianni spoke yesterday to the media and stood by his quarterback's performance on Sunday.
What I was so impressed by with Jalen, is he going to want plays back? Of course. In pressure situations when he needed to have extreme focus and lead us down the field to score, he did.
Eagles offense will get a rematch with the Rams defense that they scored 37 points and gained 481 yards against in November. Elsewhere, Flyers beat the Panthers 4-3 behind 2 goals from Noah Cates, and the 76ers return to action tonight. Front end of a back-to-back, Joel Embiid will be out as they host the Oklahoma City Thunder at 7 o'clock tonight. You can listen to the game right here on The Fanatic. This update's also brought to you by Batteries Plus. At Batteries Plus, you get a key fob for up to 50% less than the dealership. Keys cut, keys fob, programmed, and batteries replaced on the spot. Get a spare key today at Batteries Plus. Today, I'm Ray Dunn on the home of the 76ers and the Flyers. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
1227, Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5, The Fanatic. I just said, like, it's such a brilliant idea that I just had. And, Bill, I don't think you gave me enough credit for it.
Wait, what one was this now? Because you've had so many good ones today.
Well, it's the Wells Fargo Center. What are you going to do with it? Why would you knock it down? You put $1 zillion into it. So make it useful. Leave it there. So it's either I make it a community college or I have even a better idea. Bill, how about if we do this? How about if we pool our money together, buy the building, and we can make it the IMG Academy of the North. We'll call it Philadelphia Sports and Education Academy, PSE. Like, you know how they rear all those great athletes down there? It's an education system, but it's really a performance system where the kids can get to the next level in basketball or football or baseball. How about if we do that? We use the Wells Fargo Center for the Philadelphia Sports and Entertainment Academy, PSE Academy.
Aren't they going to need the parking, though? Well, isn't the plan to put, $2 billion into an entire whole thing down there? It's going to be restaurants and hotels and shopping and all that.
I don't know where they're going to put it.
Where's it all going?
They have to have a site to build it, so they're not going to build it on the same site as the Wells Fargo Center.
No, because you can't not. Well, unless the first thing they do is
knock down the Wells Fargo Center.
Well, no, the first thing they do is build the new arena. Then you knock down the Wells Fargo Center and then start to expand that way.
Well, then if you have enough space to build an arena, you have enough space to keep the Wells Fargo Center. You're only adding one more parking lot. So keep the Wells Fargo Center. You can still utilize that parking lot, but you make it an educational mission. Oh, this is so brilliant. I can't believe it. I don't know why the mayor doesn't put me on her staff.
Such
crying out loud. Why
people.
wasn't this asked? What are you going to do with the Wells Fargo Center? Is it a shame that you're going to waste the billions or the millions that you put in to renovate it, to knock it down? Can you make it useful to benefit education in the Center City, Philadelphia? First guy I would enroll is that idiot who called the woman the C word.
There we go. Way to bring that full circle, Mike. Look at that.
Thank you.
He's like a stand-up comic the way he brought back the original topic.
Yeah. That's the part where the audience gets up and he walks off the stage.
As part of PSE Academy, we'd have training for Eagle fans.
There we go. Well, look, talking about Eagles fans, though, the fact that Roger Goodell was rumored to be involved in this decision to keep the Sixers down there does signal to the effect that maybe when they put all this money in down there, one of them is going to be Lincoln Financial Field changes, whether it's in a dome on the existing field or they knock that down and build a new stadium. If that happens and you get a Super Bowl here in Philadelphia, then I'm all for the Sixers not getting their own place in Center City.
Why would Roger Goodell care about what the Sixers are doing if it pertains to that? Why does he have to get his grubby little fingers in this?
Everybody's got their hands in everything, man. But Ray made the point yesterday that it could be because the Washington Commanders and Josh Harris are trying to build a new arena or a new stadium in, I guess, where would that go?
RFK. Josh, so we'll give you approval for that, but you got to play ball here.
Maybe. Or like Ray was saying, well, maybe they need the Scott-Ole, and they're not going to have enough money to do both.
The Scott-Ole.
They need the money for down there in D.C.
Yes.
And that Wells Fargo Center is going to be the new location of the Eagles Stadium.
I like the Scott-Ole reference. But right now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time. We delayed it, but we held the suspense because it's time for the news at noon.
There's a whole lot going on in this world. It's time to catch up. Here's the news at noon. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Right down with the news at noon. 3 items that will be make us smile or raise our eyebrows or whatever. We'll get a reaction, and most of these news at noons do. Ray?
All right. Let's start out with that Eagles game on Sunday. A lot of alumni in attendance for it, including Bo Allen and Chris Long, who were on Chris Long's podcast talking about their experience down there. And Bo Allen got into a conversation about him waiting for Chris Long and Jason Kelsey and what he did in that downtime. This clip starts with Chris Long, and then it's Bo Allen talking about his experience.
I walk into the locker room, and guys are getting around. I'm like, I don't want to be here, Dom.
Yeah.
No.
That's where I was waiting for you.
And
I was with Kel.
You were in the locker room?
I was in the staff locker room, and Dom sat me down in his locker and gave me a
cannoli. I'm not even kidding. Fire. Yes. He's like, here, sit right here. He's like, I know you're looking for Kels. Like, here's Kels. Wait for Chris. I know Chris is on his way. I was like, all right. He's like, here, eat this. It's really good. It's a cannoli. Did he pull it out of like his pocket? I was like, all right, dude. There's a stack of cannolis on top of his locker.
Do we believe it?
Yeah. Well, I believe that he gave him a cannoli. I swear to God, Big Dom's getting more famous than Taylor Swift. He's J. Edgar Hoover. He found out who the guy was. He's giving cannolis there. You know, this Bo Allen. Did you see Bo Allen look like Joe Dirt? Did you see that?
Oh yeah.
Well,
now, this was a video clip.
Bo Allen, wasn't he supposed to be the Air Force guy? Isn't that who Bo Allen is?
No, I think Bo Allen went to Nebraska, didn't he?
He did?
Well, I'm looking it up here. Where did Bo Allen go to school?
You're right. I think it's Nebraska.
No, Wisconsin. It was Wisconsin. I knew it was a red and white school.
It was Wisconsin.
Yeah, he went to Wisconsin.
Well, he didn't look like Joe Dirt when he was here, did he?
A little bit.
Really? I'll be honest, when his picture popped up, it wasn't too far off the way I remember Bo Allen.
All right. Yeah. I don't remember him that way with the mullet and the stringy mustache.
But, yeah. Big Dom, though, giving out cannolis in the locker room.
A stack of them in his locker?
I don't know if he hit a stack in his locker without them being wrapped up, but I can see that he's got a box of cannoli somewhere at all times.
Well, I just remember from my time down there, because my locker was in that staff locker room.
You had a locker?
Yeah. There's always a lot of food down there, though. It's funny that it's Big Dom giving out cannolis, but there's always a lot of food in that locker room from wherever, so not a surprise.
Sounds good. All right, we'll move on here to basketball for the last two clips. First one here, Shannon Sharp, while we're talking about a lot of food, went to a very similar refrain while talking about Zion Williamson.
Coming crystal clear that a lot of us want something more for Zion than Zion wants it for himself. Yeah. And that lies the problem. See, Zion has spent a lot of time on the court. It just happened to be in the mall. It's the food court. You missed 27 games. It's not like they sprung this trip on you, Stephen A. He knew they were traveling out of town. And you're late. There were things that led up to this. You're absolutely right. Nobody wants to suspend their star player. And they normally don't have to. Why? Because professional is a term that describes your occupation. Zion Williamson is a professional basketball player, but he's not a pro, which means how he handles his business. You see, everybody keeps, and Stephen A., you mentioned it. Zion needs a change of scenery. No, he needs a change of eatery. Stop going and eating everything that you see, bro. That's embarrassing.
Well, Stephen A. said that same thing last year. He got panned for it, but that's too obvious a quip. Yeah, he on the court, but he on food court. Like that's
a little obvious.
Yeah, it's too obvious.
Change of eatery? Better?
Change of eatery. He rehearsed those lines.
I'm sure he did. A little club shay. But I mean, we complain about Embiid here. Zion, the last 6 years, how many games has he played?
I can't tell you how livid I was getting that notification Friday night that a game that was going to feature already all the backups for the Sixers, Zion got suspended because he missed his flight.
And you're already cheesed because so Lynn Greer can't get on a plane to get with his team.
Stop.
They got problems at Temple. Ray is trying to sweep them under the carpet there, that basketball team.
Don't even put out thoughts that are not mine that you're
Zion
putting out
Williamson
there.
not coming on the plane, and then Lynn Greer. Come on, you're not complaining about that, right?
I'm not complaining about that because I'm not going into that world.
Why not, right? Do you have any opinion on the Temple basketball program?
I don't have any information on, so I'm not going to speak on it, Mike.
Oh, man, Ray's getting all worked up.
How did you pull
He has no opinion on Lynn Greer.
How did you pull that from a Zion conference?
Zion not getting on the plane because he can't see him at the first.
Line off of Twitter, if that's how you made the connection between the two. Gilbert Arenas talking about Giannis getting drafted by the Bucks.
Did you hear Jeff T with the Giannis story? They said Atlanta Hawks secretly had Giannis hiding in somebody's basement, and they were trying to figure out because they didn't think nobody knew about him. So they were basically trying to figure out how to get him to 15. Yeah, they said he was working out hiding in somebody's basement so nobody can see who he was. And how he got to Milwaukee is one of the, I don't know if he was on the coaching staff or management, who was in Atlanta, got fired.
Damn.
Went to Milwaukee. Yeah, they got a hide over there in the basement. They're the pick before Atlanta.
Damn.
Stop.
That can't be legal.
Stop that, right?
Hey, everybody like you.
Stop it. First of all, you didn't set a foundation because you had a little bit of a red ass about Lynn Greer, right? So, I don't even know what number 3 was about. So let's re-rack this whole thing. I'll forget I said anything about Lynn Greer at Temple University. All right, so number 3 is what, Ray?
Number 3, Gilbert Arenas was talking about how apparently Jeff Teague told a story that Giannis was being hidden by the Atlanta Hawks leading up to the draft. A staff member from the Hawks got fired, went to the Bucks, and they thought that they were going to be able to sneak Giannis by the entire system.
Ah, okay. All right, now it makes more sense. Now let's hear the sound.
Did you hear Jeff Teague with the Giannis story? He said Atlanta Hawks secretly had Giannis hiding in somebody's basement, and they were trying to figure out because they didn't think nobody knew about him. So they were basically trying to figure out how to get him to 15. Yeah, they said he was working out hiding in somebody's basement so nobody could see who he was. And how he got to Milwaukee is one of the, I don't know if he was on the coaching staff or management, who was in Atlanta, got fired.
Damn.
Went to Milwaukee. Yeah, they got a hide over there in the basement. They're the pick before Atlanta.
Damn.
That's crazy.
That can't be legal.
No, hey, everybody like, yeah, we about to get this young kid out of Greece. He's sitting in the basement down there. They call him in. He got to come out at nighttime.
This Gilbert Arenas podcast. He's kind of an idiot, right? But he's not afraid to tell the inside little stories that has happened to him in his career, which I think that makes it very listenable.
Yeah, but if that's true, how dumb are you at the Atlanta Hawks that you're going to fire a guy before the draft? If you're trying to keep this shroud of secrecy about Giannis, don't fire anybody until after the draft. Then fire the guy.
All right, let's take a break. How's Ray doing in there? Can you check?
Ray's all angry.
Is he all right? Is he all right?
He gets so worked up.
Is he okay in there?
Man.
610-632-097. Everything's fair game, Ray. Everything's fair game.
Yeah, but you projected my feeling about the situation. You compared my feeling about Lynn Greer to my feeling of Zion, which was not true.
I don't even know what your feeling is about Lynn Greer.
Which is why the way you phrased it, though, was projecting out my feeling on it.
I didn't project anything.
I'm just happy Ray's mad at you and not me today. That's all.
Oh, Ray. I love it, though. Ray doesn't bite the hand that feeds him. It's fantastic. Ray, you're going to go places with that attitude. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Tyrone Johnson, Ricky Vitalico, and Silvana Kelleher.
Oh, there's a difference between Bill and I. There's a guy named Ed Kratz. I know Ed. He's been covering sports for the Eagles for a really long time. And he just tweeted out this. NFL announced 6 finalists for the Pepsi Zero Sugar Rookie of the Year award. Eagles' Quinyon Mitchell wasn't one of them. They are Brock Bowers, Jaden Daniels, Bucky Irving, Malik Neighbors, Bo Nix, and Brian Thomas Jr. Now, what is common about that?
Well, every one of them were offensive players.
It's the offensive rookie of the year.
Yeah.
That's why Quinyon Mitchell wasn't one of them.
Because either was Jared Verse, and Jared Verse is probably the defensive rookie of the year.
So most people would get see that Ed Kratz tweet and tweet what? You freaking idiot! These are offensive players. Here's Bill. Aren't these only the offensive rookie of the year finalists, though?
Trying to help Ed out, man. I'm hoping he just deletes the
trying
tweet.
to be nice. I love it.
I just want him to delete the tweet.
That is awesome. 610-632-0975. We got some text. But first, Sean from Illinois has been hanging for a really long time. So let's go to Sean. Sean, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
What's up, gentlemen?
What's
it's
up,
a great
Sean?
Tuesday to be an Eagles fan.
Yeah, you got your opponent. How you feel about it?
I feel great. I mean, how could we not want them? We destroyed them last time. I want to make sure before I forget, I want to profess my Sirianni weekly love that I've been given all year long, and my Jalen Hurts love. I mean, the guy's had 3 coordinators in 3 years. People, give the guy a break. They're just gelling. They're just gelling now.
No. Hold on a second. 3 coordinators in 3 years should not affect the pro player. The scheme that they are taught should make him flourish. Now, he didn't play that great. My point is, the people that say that's going to a lack of a strong passing game is going to prevent the Eagles from winning a Super Bowl. It's not because of the other things they have. It's not like I'm not trying to make Jalen Hurts be Josh Allen here. His performance has not been great, but that doesn't mean they still can't win. That's all I'm saying.
I'm not saying it's been great either, but it's not a Brad Johnson performance where we just want him to not make a mistake. You know what I'm saying?
It kind of is at this point.
No,
isn't
he's
it?
got 2 touchdown passes.
Yeah. Other than that, he can get out of the pocket and make a big play there. They are managing the game with him.
Absolutely, and I'm okay with that. Okay, but the guy still performs. He still can do it. I still believe he's a top 10 quarterback in the league. I think you guys would agree with that. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, we'll see. That's actually good. We're going to go down and try that out.
What, top 10?
What about Sirianni now that Sirianni has passed the wild card game and we all know he's coming back next year?
He's getting an extension, Sean.
That?
He's getting that extension.
Oh, he's getting paid, baby.
You know it. Me and Sean have been consistent from the jump, man, with our Sirianni.
I'm the smartest coach in the world.
Absolutely. Hey, I just want to finish with this, gentlemen. EAGLES. Go Eagles.
All right, there he is. Sean from Illinois representing in Illinois.
Yeah, he always is. And he's been consistent that Sirianni's a good coach. He has been consistent. Now, he said something there that you kind of jumped on. He said that Hurts is still a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. I think I'm still putting Hurts in the top 10.
Let's just check it out here. Let's just see. All right, who would you have as all right, let's go through the usual suspects. So we go Lamar, Josh, Mahomes.
And Burrow, I think you got to put up there now. Burrow had a great year.
Okay. So there's your top 4. Tier 1. All right, let's go to the second tier. Who heads your second tier?
So we got Lamar, Josh, Burrow, and Mahomes are in the top tier.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking you got C.J. Stroud. You got Jaden Daniels.
Would you rank Daniels ahead of Hurts? Right?
I would not. I'm just doing second tiers. I would put Hurts in that second tier.
Okay. So you got Daniels, Hurts, C.J. Stroud.
I would still put Jordan Love probably second tier, even though he just performed terribly against the Eagles. We don't know how much that
Jordan Love
hand was bothering
in
him.
Second tier. So you're telling me Hurts would be above all those guys, Daniels, Stroud, and Love. So far, he'd be ahead of them.
Oh, man.
Well,
here's the problem I'm having. I've always put Jalen Hurts very high. I had him ranked as one of the best in the NFC. And he continues to win games, and he continues to do it very efficiently. But he was the quarterback on the 29th ranked passing offense this year. So it's hard to rank him above guys like Jaden Daniels. And
how about Goff?
Goff's a second-tier guy. I think you
would put Goff ahead of Hurts right now?
Man,
I certainly would.
Yeah, this is a tough exercise.
How about Baker? Would you put him above Hurts right now? Because I would.
I can't get there, man.
Can't get because you hate Baker.
Well, here's the problem. This is the problem with the rankings as we're trying to do this exercise. Because the Eagles have relied so much on their rushing attack this year, I'm not sure that we got a full picture of Jalen Hurts in the passing game.
But you have to evaluate what they are right now. Okay? So you can't say, well, he would have been if they didn't do this. Like right now, his efficiency. That's all I'm trying to determine right now. So we'll take
let me look at it during the break.
We'll come back. And now here are the people that could be ahead of him. Daniels, Baker Mayfield, Goff, Stafford, maybe Stroud. Herbert took a back seat. All right, we'll evaluate it on the other side. Here's how you get in. 610-632-0975. This is your chance to get in. 610-632-0975. 610-632-0975. On the text board or the phone calls, you got your opponent. How you feel about the Rams? You watched them last night. They look pretty good, but they come in here as a 5.5-point underdog. Eagles will not lose this game. I think it'll be close. I think the Rams may cover. I think it might give you a little bit of constipation as you go through this game. But in the end, they're going to move on to the title game.
Yeah, I'm with you on it. And I know we're going to spend a lot of time talking about the Eagles' offense and the passing game, but it's the Eagles' defense that's going to win this game again, because not only do you have the best defense in the NFL, we've seen Vic Fangio usually has his team play very well against Sean McVay offenses. He does. And I keep going back to, you can go all the way back to when Jared Goff and the Los Angeles Rams had that playoff game against the Patriots, or the Super Bowl against the Patriots. Belichick used the Vic Fangio scheme to win that Super Bowl. It was Fangio that gave the blueprint on how to stop that Sean McVay offense. And this offseason, I remember reading some articles once the Eagles hired Vic Fangio, where they talked about the Fangio scheme, and Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan, they were asked, what's the most difficult defense for you to go up against? They all said Vic Fangio's defense. So I think you're going to see more of the same this Sunday. I think Fangio's going to figure out a way to shut down that offense, which isn't as good as people remember. We keep thinking Sean McVay, Matthew Stafford, they're not a dominant offense like they've used to be.
You're right. Now, Fangio did say he's a very clever play caller. If you're a clever play caller, you get to exploit Oren Burks in this game somehow with an intermediate passing game.
Which may be Trotter Jr., too. You heard Fangio.
Trotter Jr. had big things to say about Trotter Jr.
He did.
Let's get back to our conversation about top 10 quarterbacks, whether Hurts is in it. LeVar, Josh, Mahomes, Burrow. Okay, and now you go to the second tier. Here are the quarterbacks that I have ahead of him, definitely right now: Goff, Baker Mayfield, Stafford. C.J. Stroud, I'm not quite sure yet. I'm not quite sure yet. Daniels, I have ahead of him right now as well. So Daniels, Goff, Baker Mayfield, and Stafford, that's 8. So I would probably slide Hurts into the 9th spot because Herbert and Darnold dropped out. They're now out. Their performance in the playoffs dropped them out. I would never put them ahead of Hurts at this point.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. And I pulled up, Ray used to like to give us the Athletics quarterback stock report every week. They did this all season long. And in their final quarterback rankings before the playoffs kicked off, they had Hurts ranked 12th behind Brock Purdy, Justin Herbert, and Sam Darnold. Now, I'm leapfrogging Hurts above all 3 of them, which would bring him at worst to number 9.
Yes.
And then they have Jaden Daniels, Baker Mayfield, Jordan Love, Jared Goff, all ranked above him. Look, I've hated on Mayfield in the past. I have. It's hard to deny the season that guy had. He did do a lot of great things, Baker Mayfield. He's got a cannon of an arm, which is shocking to me. See, the way I like to grade quarterbacks, though, Mike, can they win you a Super Bowl? I look at Jalen Hurts as being capable of winning a Super Bowl. We saw it. The guy was a half away from beating Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl. I don't see Baker Mayfield ever winning a Super Bowl. I just don't.
No, you're probably right, but I don't think you can deny that he produced.
He did. That's why I'm debating whether or not I would put him above Hurts. But at the very least, even if you assume all these players or quarterbacks are above Hurts, Hurts is still in the top 10.
He is. He's 9, 8, 9, 10 in that area. You're listening to the Mike Missanelli Show on WPEN and WPEN HD, Burlington, Philadelphia, Beasley Media Group station, broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. All right, let's get back to this Dan Orlovsky thing. We played it a little earlier. He did a film breakdown saying Jalen Hurts is not at fault at all, that everybody was covered. So if everybody's covered, their scheme was wrong. You got to scheme receivers open, and their scheme left something to be desired, and we'll get to that in a second. But you know who reacts to all this stuff? And he comes off like he's above Orlovsky. God bless his little heart. He must be bored out there because he tweets a lot. And I'm talking about the former Eagle executive, Mr. Joe Banner.
Wait, he responded to Orlovsky?
Joe Banner.
I didn't see it.
He responded to an Orlovsky tweet. The conversation around how Jalen Hurts played today over the next few days will really be interesting. And then later on, he supported Jalen Hurts with video evidence saying blah, blah, blah. The scheme was wrong. So Joe countered that Orlovsky tweet with the following. Worse today, but had numerous bad games. 3 teams with 4 or less wins had a possession at the end of the game with the Eagles. And if they scored, they won. Agree this was more extreme, but not unique. What very good teams did, the Eagles beat. That wasn't bad or missing a key player. Ravens, that's it. So he's poo-pooing the Eagles. I don't know, a little jealousy and a little boredom and a little bitterness maybe. So Uncle Filthy replies to Joe by saying, when I worked at the Link, everyone I met hated you, including the ticket takers. so people don't like it when a former guy connected with the team rips his own team, and that's why we played the shady thing a little earlier. But let's get into your Orlovsky thing, because you also have a counterpoint from another quarterback who played a lot more in the league than Orlovsky did. And Orlovsky's a film studier, and the problem I have with Orlovsky is the problem I have with Orlovsky and company. They do it like they're just doing it for themselves. Like it's this chummy thing with Swaggy and everybody. Like it's like they're doing their own show within a show for themselves instead of bringing the audience in. I always have a problem with that when you kind of separate yourself from the audience. But anyway, here's what Orlovsky had to say as he was going over this video and looking at the Eagles scheme.
No one was open. Now, if you were asking me, is this a quarterback like a Lamar or a Joe Burrow that is a sudden quarterback that does play bang bang in their pass game, then maybe he could fit a 5-yard route in here or there. But that's not Jalen's game. That's never been Jalen's game, is like this crazy on-time rhythm-centric quarterback with their pass game. So no one was open. I think the second thing, and I want to be very clear, this wasn't like an A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith problem where they're just getting gloved up. I truly believe that Green Bay had a great feel for what pass concepts were coming out of what formations or what situations. The big thing is this: there's very little in the middle of the field for Philly's pass game, pass concept wise. There's very little layered pass concepts. It is a little bit easier for a defense to defend, in my opinion. I think that's where my concern is a little bit more than.
All right. I have a problem with one part of that whole thing. Like, he's not right. He's saying that Kellen Moore got outcoached by Green Bay's defensive coordinator. That's basically what he's saying. But bang, bang, that's not Jalen's game. Well, I go, okay, but don't you have to, have a total game? It's not Jalen's game, so that means you take him off the hook for that? That's what I don't get about what he just said. Somewhere along the line, when you make that analysis, you just say, well, maybe the Eagles will need to work on that, but right now it's not one of their strengths.
Yeah, it's kind of the chicken or the egg argument, because you're saying in one hand, well, Kellen Moore's got to design these plays, but then on the other hand, you're saying, but Jalen Hurts, that's not his game.
Exactly.
So is Kellen Moore not calling these plays because Jalen can't do it, or is Jalen not doing it because Kellen Moore's not calling the plays? That's why I said the chicken or the egg. There have been people, and this comes mostly from the Hurts detractors, who say that Kellen Moore is calling the offense a certain way because he doesn't think Jalen can handle other things. Now, I don't see that being the case.
Well, if it is the case, then that's a criticism of Jalen Hurts.
It is. That's what I'm saying. It's mostly the detractors who say that.
If you're Orlovsky, you got to throw that in there. Okay, I'm criticizing him because he can't do that. I get it. They need to work on that part of it.
Yeah, and then you have Ryan Fitzpatrick, who commented under that video.
What did Ryan Fitzpatrick have to say about this? Because he took on Orlovsky.
Yeah, he says, I don't agree with this take. Drop-back pass game is about timing, accuracy, and making quick decisions. Just because there aren't guys with 5 yards of space around them doesn't mean they are open. Also, you might want to relook at the running back on that second play. That's why the play is called. So it sounds like Fitzpatrick's taking more of a shot at Hurts saying, no, listen, your video, you're showing these guys aren't 5 yards open. That doesn't matter. It's about timing and accuracy. He needs to make quicker decisions.
I don't know. It's funny. There are so many experts out there now analyzing football. Most of them are tied into the league. You don't get to analyze football anymore unless you've been covering the league for 100 years or you're an ex-player. Like, that's the only people that are allowed to do that. And most of them, what they do is they have to have something to go to. And what they're going to here is the Eagles can't win the Super Bowl because Jalen is not X. That's what they're saying.
Yeah, but here's what I keep coming back to with Jalen. We have seen a big enough sample size now where the guy continues to win. If he was not a good quarterback, there is no chance that they would have won 49 out of 60-something games or whatever it is right now. We've seen bad quarterbacks get exposed eventually. Jalen Hurts is still winning football games.
Well, and that's the whole context that it has to be set. And we'll get to that in a second. 610-632-0975 to get in. We got Richard from Mars. We'll get your calls. We're going back to the text board. It's the Mike Missanelli Show on 97.5 The Fanatic.
The Philadelphia 76ers
Show. All right, tomorrow is General Knowledge Wednesday. Bill will be here. Most likely will not be here on Thursday, Friday. The baby will come during those times. Bill, a little nervous right now, but
we're almost there.
Holding it down. Very nicely done. Ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow's prize, a pair of Sixer tickets and a pair of tickets to see Metallica concert. Now, I'm also going to throw something else in, Bill. I'm going to throw in a pair of tickets for the Sixers Celtics. Unfortunately, this will only be good for the 2031 season.
Oh, God.
And it won't arrive in your mailbox until 2031. But it'll be a spanking new building. And the ticket will actually have a Sixer and a Flyer logo intertwined like the snake on the Hippocratic Oath. And in addition to that, I understand the plans for the new building. They're going to have a statue in front, and it'll be Julius Erving's lithe body, but Bob Clark's head dunking a hockey puck on a hockey net. That's how they're going to commingle these two concepts.
The craziest part is there are people listening to the show right now who are going, "Wow, is he serious?" No, he's joking.
You're going to be able to buy Flyer dogs at the Sixer game, and Sixer dogs at the Flyers games.
Did you see, the Flyers had their dollar dog night last night.
Did they?
Did you see that?
I did not see that.
And the big win by the Fly Guys. Ray, why don't we hit it, Ray? Why don't we hit it? There it is. Big win by the Flyers last night. They went down 2-0 to the defending champ, Florida Panthers, and come back to win it.
Opening night 2020-31, Glenn Cochran is going to ring the bell.
Oh, God. Maybe they'll have you ring the bell. Like, if I would have told you, though.
At halftime, the last bucket, they're going to play the hockey horn.
If I would have told you. Ray, don't play into that. If I would have told you that we would be sitting here on January 14th and that the Philadelphia Flyers would have more wins than the 76ers, people would have thought I was crazy.
This is bad. This is very, very bad.
At home games, you go into overtime at a Sixer game, it's going to be 4-on-4, and George Murajan will be the rim protector.
Wonder if to let them drop the gloves in the basketball game.
God. This is ridiculous. 50-50 split now. Don't forget. In harmony, Flyers and Sixers. That huge crossover audience.
Oh, let me ask
by the way.
I know you wanted the arena downtown. I get it. You made that abundantly clear. I thought it would have been cool, too.
Yeah.
But you don't see that there's a chance that this could be pretty cool down in South Philly? Like, if they bring this new arena and all this stuff that they're saying they're going to bring, and there's going to be new food spots and shopping and hotels, and it's going to be this incredible sports complex down there, it could be cool.
No.
Yeah, but is that only...
It's not going to be cool. This notion that they're going to build something that people come to is a fallacy. That place is a wasteland. It's not even in Philadelphia. It's in South Philly. Nobody's going to make a trek down there because it's this vibrant place to hang out.
All right, now you've offended all the South Philly Italians saying that South Philly's not a part of Philadelphia.
No, South Philly is their own state. They have their own state in South Philly. That's where the pride comes from. But people aren't going to make that a destination. If they're going to go eat, they're going to go eat in Center City. That's where the destination
not necessarily
is.
True. Look, one of my favorite Italian restaurants right down in South Philadelphia, Scanicchio's. I come in from Jersey to go there.
That's on Broad Street because you can get to it. It's not in the stadium area where you're going to have this manufactured town. It's a manufactured town. Nobody's coming to the manufactured town. Nobody goes to the Navy Yard. It was a manufactured town.
It is, but it's going to be different. Look, Xfinity Live, which is very small, is jammed on game days. I mean, there are people, when I leave...
Game days, yes, I get it. Game days, so you go in and have a drink.
But what is the purpose
It's a place to hang out. They got big screen TVs. You're talking about now retail shops. Who's going to shop? When? When are they going to shop? They're going to come down there on a Saturday afternoon and shop there where there's no game?
Well, look, by 2031, Ray will probably be married with kids. The three of us will go to the game.
I would say no.
Our wives and the kids, they could go retail shop, they could go eat, and we'll meet them after the game. It'll be great, right?
Yeah, I'll tell you, that's a fun attraction day. Let's go. There's a game at 7 o'clock. Let's go down there at 12 o'clock. We'll shop for a couple hours, and then we'll go to dinner, and then we'll go to the game. And by the time we get home, it's 1:30 in the morning. Who has the stamina for that?
Okay, this is what I keep coming back to, all right? And I saw people coming at me yesterday. Oh, Bill doesn't know the difference between South Philly and Center City. I understand the difference. What I'm saying is, if your point is that people won't have time to take part in any of the festivities that are down in South Philly, how the hell are they going to have time to take part in the Center City festivities? What's the difference?
Because it's unique to go into the city. People in the suburb, let's take a trip to the city. It's like they don't do it as much anymore, but that's the excitement part of it. You're in Center City. You're not in some manufactured wasteland town where there's 4 stadiums. It's so overrated to think that people are going to patronize this nouveau retail, restaurant, hotel. Like, what the hell are we talking about here?
I think they will. I think that they will. I think you're going to have people coming down and hanging out down there.
And they're gonna stay in the hotel. And, they're going to make it a night. That's how many people are going to do that? You're going to come down. We're going to stay all day, and then we're going to get the game, and then we're going to stay overnight at the hotel. If you really think that's people, and
if the food's good down there, if the shopping's good, if the festivities are good, people will come. If you build it, they will come.
No, I don't think so. All right, let me hear it. Since this is full bore now, and they still haven't told us what they're going to do with the Wells Fargo Center. They just put millions in to renovate. My idea has not been endorsed by anybody that I've heard. I've had 2 tremendous suggestions. A, turn that into Philadelphia Community College. B, turn it into the Philadelphia Sports and Education IMG Academy. So,
before we hear from Josh Harris, if this gets a Super Bowl to Philadelphia, you don't think it's worth it?
Why can't you just get a Super Bowl to Philadelphia anyway?
Well, because
why if Lurie wants to put a dome on a stadium, what is stopping him? What would stop Lurie to put a damn retractable roof on that stadium now?
I guess there's nothing stopping him. But if this,
if you do that, you get a Super Bowl.
But if this allows them to not only build a dome stadium for the Eagles, and then they have all of this rebuilt area that you're referring to as a wasteland, a rebuilt area so that you could have the entire Super Bowl festivities down there, and Philadelphia gets a Super Bowl. I don't care about anything else. That would be incredible for the city. Incredible to be able to bring a Super Bowl down there.
Okay, so we're doing all this for the chance of one Super Bowl.
Well, I'm not saying they're doing all of it because of that, but if that's
one time, one Super Bowl coming to Philadelphia,
you could get another one.
Oh, you would? When? 25 years down the road?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe.
Yeah, they don't like to put it in the Northeast. They don't. Okay? So the speculative, Philadelphia's going to be a real Super Bowl track. Nobody wants to come to Philadelphia in the winter for a Super Bowl. Nobody wanted to go to Minnesota for a Super Bowl. They learned that.
Yeah, that was terrible.
Nobody wanted to go to New York when they did that.
Well, that was because it was outside, too, and it snowed.
On the other side, Josh Harris say he didn't change his mind. They just, what was the term he used? North Star?
Yeah, the North Star always
North
was
Star.
What was best for Philly.
All right, Mike Missanelli show continues.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Eagles host the Rams on Sunday. I'm Ray Dunn with this update, and it's brought to you by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the app today. Los Angeles Rams took down the Minnesota Vikings 27-9 on Monday night, booking their trip to Philadelphia for the divisional round. It'll be Eagles and Rams Sunday at 3 o'clock down at Lincoln Financial Field. The big storyline leading up to this one, the Eagles passing offense finding its groove after an uneven performance against the Packers on Sunday. Nick Sirianni spoke yesterday to the media and stood by his quarterback's performance.
What I was so impressed by with Jalen, is he going to want plays back? Of course. In pressure situations when he needed to have extreme focus and lead us down the field to score, he did.
Eagles offense get a rematch with the Rams defense that they scored 37 points on and gained 481 yards against in November. Elsewhere, last night, the Flyers beat the Panthers 4-3 behind 2 goals from Noah Cates. 76ers turned action tonight, front end of a back-to-back. Joel Embiid will be out as they host the Oklahoma City Thunder at 7 o'clock tonight. You can listen to that one right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. This update's also brought to you by Penny.com. It's open enrollment. Get the lowest cost on high-quality health coverage now through Penny, PA's health insurance marketplace. Deadline to enroll is January 15th at Penny.com. I'm Ray Dunn on the home of the 76ers and the Flyers. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
27. Like Missanelli show, I like this. This band's a smooth vibe, man. A little bounce. A nice little bounce.
I know the song. Who's the band?
Wild Nothing.
I wouldn't know that.
All right, just one quick thing here. How do you think, now that this new thing's going to be built down there, all come be new bars, restaurants, the whole thing, how do you think the Cordish Corporation feels about this?
The who?
The Cordish Corporation is in partners with Comcast Spectacor for Xfinity Live.
Well, I'm assuming they're going to have to be a part of the expansion, right?
Really? Why? Why would they be part of the expansion? The Cordish people are the ones that came in and created that in the first place. Then Comcast came in and partnered with them. So it's a 50-50 venture between Cordish Company, which is located in Baltimore, and Comcast, which is here. All right? So now, basically, the Cordish people are now forced to sell out. Like, don't you think that's going to dilute the business that Xfinity Live has?
Yeah, I assumed that the expansion down there would include an expansion of Xfinity Live.
That was, I think, reported earlier last year that there was going to be the Xfinity Live expansion.
Okay.
Yes, that would make more sense.
You're creating other businesses to take away business from Xfinity Live. Now, Comcast Spectacor doesn't care about that because they're building other retail outlets that are going to make themselves money. I say, if you're the Cordish people, would you not say, all right, buy us out now?
And maybe they will. Still not affected.
I think the other side of that for me would be you're losing probably 40 dates of traffic with the 76ers that would have been in Center City.
There you go, Ray.
This Xfinity Live people.
Good
I mean, you
point.
can't be thrilled about it. I'm not going to say that I think they're, popping champagne today.
No, it's a good point,
Ray.
Ray.
Really like this? The out-of-town media.
Why is that?
Well, because they can stay in a hotel right
Nice and easy. Yeah, come in.
Out-of-town
get out.
media, they don't have to worry about the Center City, getting to the arena, the whole bit.
There's another factor here that we haven't talked about much, that they're going to make a bid for a WNBA team now.
Why couldn't they do that before?
I guess they
Why did they need this?
I guess they could, but now that you're going to have Comcast and Josh Harris's organization together making the bid, maybe it's more likely to get it. Look, I think
They
it's
could
going
have
to
done that a long time ago.
Yeah, why couldn't Comcast have done that?
Oh, they should
One,
have.
I'm glad it's happening, but it's thrown in there in the midst of a PR nightmare. Like, it's a good thing that's happening, but ultimately it was a throw-in to a press release.
Oh, whoa, hold on. Switch gears for a second. The line has moved in the Eagles-Rams game, Mike.
Oh, which way?
Which way do you think?
I think the people are betting the Rams.
You would be incorrect.
Betting
I
Eagles.
told you I was surprised it was as low as 5.5. It's going
really?
to go up. It's up to 6.5 now.
6.5. Yeah, I saw actually 6.5 yesterday in some spots.
Got it. So FanDuel went from 5.5 today to 6.5. And the Lions-Commanders line has moved as well.
Well, then see, at 5.5, I don't like it. At 6.5, I love the Eagles. Isn't it weird at one point? 5.5 is a fluky number.
I think the
6.5
Eagles
is more comfortable.
I think the Eagles win by double digits on Sunday.
Okay, you're probably right.
And you got Commanders-Lions. I actually meant to ask you this as we're talking about Josh Harris. Commanders are now 9.5-point dogs in Detroit. Is there a scenario where you see the Commanders upsetting the Lions and the Eagles hosting the NFC Championship game?
My bet of the week is the Lions.
So, no, you're not.
I'll tell you right away, my bet of the week is the Lions. They will destroy that team.
Now, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Let's play hypothetical for a second. The Commanders somehow upset the Detroit Lions. We got the NFC Championship game in Philadelphia next week. And our man Josh Harris has said their North Star was doing what's best for Philly. Does he show his face rooting for the Commanders at that game?
Of course he does.
You can't, man.
Of course he does.
Come on, Josh Harris.
The whole time.
There's no way he could go there all excited.
In fact, I think he'll have the balls to ask Lurie to sit next to him. All right, let's go. Josh Harris yesterday. A lot of people spoke. Josh is not the best speaker. Probably a smart guy, money-making guy. I don't know. They don't have public speaking at Penn. I don't know. See, if he had gone to Temple, he'd be like Ray Dunn, speaking to the media.
I think you're probably right.
All right, so let's hear.
It's not a Klein School of Broadcasting and Communications grad.
I'm surprised he knew it.
Instead, he went to egghead class at Penn instead of Johnny Sunshine class at the Temple Journalism Department. So let's hear from Josh Harris yesterday addressing this when he was asked, how can we change your mind?
We didn't really change our mind. Actually, we were really committed to Market East, but obviously when we also had our North Star was doing the right thing by Philly, and when deals don't come together exactly when you want them, and when Comcast and when Brian, Adam Silver said, "Look, guys, you're fighting. Let's try to come together." We felt we could build a better arena. We could also revitalize Market East, and we felt that it was 1 + 1 = 3 situation, and so we pivoted. It's a little more complicated for all of us. Comcast was willing generously, even though they had put in a lot of money into the existing arena to make it great, to move up to their time frame, and all of us made compromises to do the right thing by Philly.
All right, so here's the tell. When he started, that's the tell, because he's going, I don't know why we changed our mind. Can we hear that one more time? Listen for the clearing of the throat.
We didn't really change our mind. Actually, we were really committed to Market East, but,
There it is. We really didn't change our mind. What do I say now? All right.
Listen, I got to be honest. I'm not just saying this to disagree with you. I'm really excited for the future of what's going to happen down at the sports complex. Ray, are you excited about it?
I can't get to excitement because I'm still locked in confusion of how this all went this way. Like, I'm maybe too cynical about all of this to get myself to excitement. If you sold me for 2 years on this was the best possible thing for the city, and then you pivot this far, I'm cynical about the reasons behind all of it.
Well, like Mike said earlier, I'm sure there's reasons that we'll never find out, financially based.
Yeah, even so, like, they're expanding Xfinity Live. Do you remember the original plans for Xfinity Live?
Originally,
it was not the Xfinity Live you got.
No, you were supposed to have this massive thing down there.
Right, and they're supposed to build this massive thing down there now.
But I would think when we first got the plans for Xfinity Live going way back, it wasn't tied to any new arenas or anything like that. This now is the Sixers were going to go to Market Street. They're not, and they're coming down there. I have to believe that they're going to build a lot down there. Why else are the Sixers agreeing to go down?
I guess, and not to get too much on a soapbox here, just because I don't feel like maybe this is the forum to do it, but like the idea that there were people that went and like voted with the idea of like, hey, this person's endorsing this person's endorsing this for the future of this city, and those people were just being played by a game of $2 billion companies. It doesn't have all the sweet feelings in my stomach of like, yes, I'm so excited for South Philly. Like at some point I'll probably, have to just get past that because that's how, life goes. But for right now, I can't get to the warm fuzzies of South Philadelphia while it feels like the entire city was played by two corporations for a couple of years in a smearing PR campaign back and forth.
Well, listen, my feelings on this whole thing. I think it's ridiculous. I think it would have been really special to do the Market Street idea. But when Josh Harris says that Adam Silver says, look, guys, you're fighting, that's kind of, why would he give a crap that they're fighting? Like, why would he care about the Flyers' interest? They own the Flyers, Comcast. I understand that the NBA's doing business with them. Stay the frick out of it. This is a company that owns the Sixers, company owns the Flyers. Why do you care if they're fighting?
Yeah, and Adam Silver, I saw a bunch of things about he just wanted to make sure the Sixers stayed in Philly.
Yeah, they were going to stay in Philly.
Yeah, exactly. They were going to stay in Philly anyway, so I didn't understand that part of it. I just wanted to make sure they were in Philly. Well, they were going to stay in Philly. They were just going to be in Center City.
Hey, Adam, go pound sand. I got my own commercial interests to worry about here.
Now, is Josh Harris planning on keeping the Sixers for a long time? He's not trying to sell the Sixers, right? I mean, this is a part of the he will still be the owner in 2031,
listen,
right?
He's a maximized asset man. If he reasons that the asset is at its peak, which sports franchises will never reach, then he'll sell and he'll buy something else. That's the way he rolls. He's not a sportsman.
But you still think if the Commanders beat the Lions, that we will see Josh Harris?
Well, if you're Josh Harris, what are you going to do? Watch the game at home? It's your team.
Show up with one of those split jerseys.
I don't know, man. I think you got to stay behind the scenes.
Come on, man. When's he
in
ever
an
stay behind the
NFC Championship game?
When does he stay behind the scenes when he's visibly as seen on the Redskins side? I mean, the Commander's sidelines.
Here's one better for you. What 76ers players are in the Commanders owner's box for that game?
Ah, there you go.
But they're going to be rooting for the Eagles, you would think, right?
Maybe not.
Well, who signs the checks?
That's exactly right.
Oh, man, this is getting
Mike Missanelli show.
Getting weird.
Coming down home stretch, we got Richard and T-Love. We'll get to you.
It's time for Birds Playoff Conversation.
What do you think about Saquon's?
All right. Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5. The Fanatic, a very interesting day. Tomorrow will be another interesting day. It'll be General Knowledge Wednesday. We haven't done it in a while. We got a couple good prizes. Sixers tickets we're giving away. Sixers tonight are an 11.5 point underdog to a team that doesn't have Chet Holmgren, but they have maybe the best player in the league. So that'll be fun to go. You'll see the best player in the league, right?
Yeah, that's why I'm going.
They don't load manage him. Have you noticed that?
No.
Yeah.
No.
You know what
SGA?
you know what the money
load
line is?
management will have.
You know what the money line is right now?
Let's see. The minus 320 on the Thunder.
No.
What? Higher?
Minus 900
for the Thunder?
Yes.
Well,
minus
11.
900.
This is very bad.
It's up to a 13-point spread.
See, this is again like if I was a gazillionaire, why wouldn't I bet $1 million on that just to make some seed money? Like, the Sixers can't possibly win this game.
It's just not. I don't think the risk's worth the reward.
Well, you don't? They're 13.5 point. It's impossible for the Sixers to win this game.
But if you put $1 million at minus 900.
What do you got? What's that compute to?
What does that compute to, Ray?
While you're computing that, we could put another bet on this one.
Okay.
I've been told a number of times, the jokes are made at my expense when I tweet out from my seat out there, just how far up I am. Yeah. Up where I sit, where my season tickets are. Will there be more? There's going to be two of us. Will there be more than 5 people in my row?
I don't know. How's it been since when you've been going? Really?
Yeah.
What's your row?
We're 219, like row 12.
Oh, well, I can see it. I thought you made it. The first deck will be filled.
No, that's what I mean. But up where I am, will there be more than 5 people in my row?
They're trying to sell those tickets for like $5.
Wow.
Yeah.
So no. So people are bad. Well, unless I don't know. SGA is a draw.
It's a draw, and it's only once a year.
So yeah, I would say more.
More. Okay.
Yeah, I'll go more.
I'll report back.
By the way, it's now plus 950 or minus 950. So for
people were getting on that as you were saying it.
Yes, if you bet $10,000, you win 1,052. So
if you bet $10,000, it's an extra 1,000 you got in your pocket that you can't get at a bank. You see, this is what I'm saying. Like, you're not going to get that return anywhere you invest that on a one-day investment.
No, because you're getting about 10%.
That's what I mean. Now, there's a risk, a little bit of a risk. It's not a large risk that you're going to lose that bet.
How the hell are
Paul
they?
George revenge game.
Yeah.
Minus 950. My God.
All right, let's go to Richard in Marsville. Richard, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Richard.
Good afternoon, Michael.
Hello, Rich. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for asking, Mike. If I could just jump into it. You know, I don't see – I heard the comparison earlier you were making with Baker Mayfield, Jared Goff, Stafford. I'm sorry. These guys haven't – only one of them has been to a championship game.
That doesn't matter. You're evaluating them in the current form. You can't hang. Well, Jalen Hurts hasn't won a Super Bowl either.
The current form, Mike. We're talking again. The Buccaneers just lost to the wild card Commanders. We beat the Packers twice. So the current statistics put Jalen ahead of everyone that you're naming.
No, they don't. Baker Mayfield has better stats this year than.
Yeah, but he's right, but he hasn't gotten his team over the hump again.
We're talking about the evaluation of a quarterback, not whether he got him over the hump. Right now, the accomplishment of the particular quarterback in real time. Now, I look at Baker Mayfield. He's got 41 touchdowns. He's thrown for 4,500 yards. His completion percentage is 71.4. He's had an amazing year.
Yeah, Mike, but that's not what are stats. Stats are just numbers. You're not giving me.
The stats are numbers to evaluate the performance of a quarterback. You can't get the team success to evaluate the particular quarterback.
Okay, so we'll have this. I'm not going to disagree with you. Let's have this conversation in a few weeks and see where the.
Oh, okay, we can have that conversation in a few weeks. We're having the conversation today, Richard. You don't have to get. You don't have to get offended by it.
No, I'm not offended, but I wouldn't put him in the second tier. I would put him in the top 5 to 10 quarterbacks based on.
You would put Jalen Hurts in the top 5 right now?
Yes, I would. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Wait, yeah, you can't. He said 5 to 10. We have him in the top 10.
Yeah,
we both had Hurts
we had
in
him
the top
8,
10.
9, or 10. I mean, that's not no slack, but Baker Mayfield has had an amazing year. You can't say because Tampa Bay lost we have to drop him below Jalen Hurts. No. You can look at Darnold and make a case of maybe you shouldn't drop him either. Maybe the Jordan Love shouldn't. But right now, if I look at Baker Mayfield's statistic, it's 41 TDs and 16 interceptions, 4,500 yards. I mean, those are eye-popping numbers.
I'm not a huge Mayfield guy.
I understand that.
I'm not, but he did have a great year in terms of throwing the football. A lot of interceptions, but it's hard to evaluate Jalen Hurts and not include what he does in the running game. Like, I know that Saquon Barkley had the success he had. The majority of part of that was Saquon himself and the offensive line, but you can't take away what Jalen does in the running game.
It's a different conversation when you say who would you want to ride with rather than who right now is ranked. That's a different conversation. You would take Jalen Hurts over Baker Mayfield.
I would.
Yeah, you would. You would, and you can go down the list. But I'm saying when you evaluate that year, that's a pretty amazing year.
So maybe we need to make a ride or die list.
All right. And more on the Sixers, folks, tonight if you're heading down there. It looks like Paul George is probable. He's got a right ankle situation, but he's probable, and I'm sure he's going to love playing with these mutts tonight because Maxey is questionable with a left hand injury. Kellen Moore also questionable. Al, Embiid, Drummond, Lowry, KJ Martin. So there you go. Have fun, Paul. You don't think Paul George is looking around going, are you kidding me? Who?
No.
Who? What?
I think on the court. Great for content.
Wait, Max, you're not playing? Are you going to leave me hanging? Come on.
I think that Paul George is thinking, I just signed a massive contract.
But he also is thinking, I didn't sign up for this. I signed up for something completely different than this. And now you got me playing with Jeff Dalton.
By the way, guess what the Sixers, according to ESPN's Power Index, their percentage chance to make the playoffs now?
What's that?
Where would you put it?
Is it less than 50?
It is less than 50%.
It's less than 50%?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
They
got a killer schedule coming up.
They are at a 21.7% chance to make the playoffs.
They got a lot of L's coming up, and it makes me think that maybe they punt. I don't know. We'll see. T-Love and Delco, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. T-Love.
Good morning. What's up, fellas?
What's up, T-Love?
Hey, Mike. I heard you last week getting on Bill about siding with the corporations, and now I hear you talking about what about this Cochran Foundation or whatever?
Cordish.
Well, whoever, Anyway, why do you care?
I don't care. I'm saying if you were a Cordish, if you were part of that company, how would you feel about it?
Yeah, well, it's the same deal with last week and talking about giving a rebate for the tickets, right? But Bill with Bill. Anyway, just think about it.
Wait, T-Love, before you make your point, you know what I can't stop thinking about every time you call? That you picked Wham over Run DMC,
yeah,
man.
I did.
I can't get past that, T-Love.
Couldn't get back home that night.
It was the logical thing to do.
It was, man. It was. I give you a lot of credit.
Now, here's the deal. You picked the wrong song to begin with. You should have picked Curtis Blow's song. Now, that's the Christmas song.
Wait, you're right. That should have been considered. It was considered, actually.
Well, yeah.
All right, so weigh in on this Sixers Stadium here, because I know you sound like you endorse it.
Well, I was against the other thing downtown because I didn't like the fact that they were uprooting a community down there.
Yeah, they weren't uprooting anybody.
Well, that's what
they were actually going to improve the community.
Well, that's what you say. That's what you say. But they don't feel that way. So, here, there, whatever. Most big cities that have a pier side, have a really nice dock area. When you go to Baltimore, Chicago, places like that have a riverside communities, and they have all kinds of stuff to do down there. Delaware Avenue has been a dreck.
Yeah, they tried to do that. I mean, I hate to cut you short. They tried to go to the Penn's Landing area. It was turned down. It wasn't. There was no approval for that, so they had to pivot. Yeah, that was original. That was many years ago. They tried to do that.
Yeah, he's right though, man. Down there on Delaware Ave. What do we got? We got Dave and Buster's. They did put that little pier.
It would have been great. It wasn't approved. They couldn't get it done.
They put that little pier down there now. right? There's that little area you can hang.
We're talking, they wanted to build an arena down there. They wanted to build housing. They wanted to build the same things that you're doing now in South Philly. They wanted to do that with the Sixers. No go for that. Now, I heard it yesterday. I was on the Fox show late at night, and they go through, people send in videos. And the guy goes, it's unique. Philadelphia's the only city where all the stadiums are in one place. And I go, why is that important? Why would that be important to people? It has no relevance. So what? The stadiums are in one place. Well, so what?
I've never cared that all the stadiums are in one place.
Well, that's what I mean. Why would you? What does that have to do with anything?
But if you're going to build a massive,
here we go.
Restaurant,
you've been
all these things.
You've been
there.
sucked in by corporate nonsense.
Listen, just like Josh Harris, my North Star is what's best for the city.
Your North Star is having a baby. That's what your North Star is.
Well, hopefully it doesn't happen until Thursday, and I'll be here tomorrow.
Closing arguments.
Now, closing arguments on the Mike Missanelli Show. Brought to you by Lowenthal and Abrams Injury Attorneys. Injured in an accident, call 800-876-LAWYER or visit LowenthalAbrams.com.
Yeah, I just gave you the tip-off. My closing argument is about the Eagles. 6.5-point line, it's up to Eagles will win the game. 5.5, I was a little iffy on the cover. There's no way they lose this game to the Rams, who have to now go all the way back to L.A., practice in those conditions that are going on out there, fly all the way here and win a game in cold weather. Not going to happen for the Rams. They played well last night. They spilt their bucket, as they say. Eagles are going to the NFC title game like we all expected. Billy?
Yeah, Mike, and the one thing you didn't throw in there, it's a short week, too, for the Los Angeles Rams, having played on Monday night. I just think it's all about matchups in the NFL. The Philadelphia Eagles match up very well with the Los Angeles Rams. You saw it in Week 12. I think you'll see it again. We'll continue to break it down all week, but I think the Eagles win by double digits on Sunday. NFC Championship game, baby. Maybe here against Josh Harris. Maybe.
No, that's not going to happen. I'm going to go to sleep when I get home, and I'm going to wake up at 2031 so I can really get excited stepping in that new building. Everybody have a great rest of the night. Talk to you tomorrow.
The field to score, he did.
The Eagles offense got a rematch with the Rams defense that they scored 37 points and gained 481 yards against in November. Elsewhere, Flyers beat the Panthers 4-3 last night behind 2 goals from Noah Cates. The 76